Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Xbox Nation Podcast, one of the best, if not the best podcast going in the Xbox community, not just Wednesday nights. We're a top podcast. Let's stop kidding everybody. Our podcast is better than yours. Let's just put it that way. I'm just kidding. I got like all these other people that host podcasts in here. I'm just being a bit of Christmas cheer to everyone. Hopefully you guys are all doing good. Just jokes. just jokes. Come on, guys. Come on. Like next thing you know, people are running out with that. Crapgamer says his podcast is better than everybody.
Everybody else sucks. God.
Wow.
They're gonna copy just that part.
Yeah, they just want to hear Crapgamer say everybody else's podcast sucks.
Yeah.
It's just jokes, everybody. Ha 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 ha.
Exactly. See, that's it. Yeah, like you just want me to. I know. Yeah, I'm an asshole. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays, all that good stuff. We're glad to have you here. We got a stellar cast. We've got the diva Mooch. He decides to waltz in here a little bit late today. How you doing, man?
Good, buddy. Yeah, I'm pretty pumped. I got to be honest with you. You know, it's funny. We do so many podcasts from like basically Friday through the weekend with MNC Mornings, BGST, Crossfire. Then it's like all of a sudden the 2 days off. I'm jonesing to podcast again, which is why I think you may get the best part of Mooch on Xbox Nation, I think.
Yeah. You usually go in really good, and I'm just like, oh, yeah, that's the good stuff right there.
Yeah, you even said you left your mic. You're like, I wasn't even here for half of last week's episode. I was like, glad I could help, buddy.
Yeah, it's a good time. You know, it's like, and not only that, but I missed BGST last week. So, although I did listen to it, and I told you, man, I was listening to it and I was like, man, I'm depressed. I suck compared to you guys. Like, you guys were nailing it, man. You were like, you renamed that guy Bill.
Great.
I was like,
he's probably here tonight. So if Bill's here, you guys all know him. He's NSFK space Z, aka Bill. Because you know what he does is he does that crap. So that way, if he gets banned, he just makes another account real quick and adds some other letters.
Yeah. So his name's, you're like, your name's Bill. And everybody's just like, and everybody's just like cracking up and calling him Bill, and I thought that was hilarious. And and then you were like the whole lactose intolerant thing. You're like, you want some pizza? No. You want a cheeseburger? No. You want fondue? No, I'm lactose intolerant.
I don't want it.
Yeah, I don't want it. It was just like the funniest shit. I was like, man, I suck. I got to step my game up a little bit because you guys are absolutely killing it. And not even Z was talking that much. It's just like you guys, UK, Meg, and Tim were just like hogging the microphone. I was like, damn, man, I feel like the Ringo Starr of the group. You know.
Well, after we got done, I told Jay Williams I wanted a new shirt made. I want JRPGs are not for me, and that's just, you know, it's just, it is what it is. Like I say, I enjoyed the shit out of those types of games when I was younger. But you're even seeing a lot of people that have podcasts or their own YouTube channels. They're saying that they came back to Final Fantasy because it was a Western theme. It's more of that Witcher-esque theme, and people are really enjoying and taking to it. I think the turn-based days have kind of come and gone, or if they haven't come and gone, some people are going to go, Mooch, you're full of it. It's ridiculous. They're great. Yeah, I mean, sales just show that they're not. So we'll get into it later in the show.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We got the plethora of topics that I'm writing out as we're as we're doing this, and we got the governor here. We got GKB. How you doing, bro?
What's going on, man? It's the Christmas crunch time, bro. Just doing a whole bunch of crap for that, and excited for the show, man. Ready to talk about whatever topics you got cooked up there.
Heck yeah. I appreciate you being. Actually, you and She-Wolf have a remarkable attendance record on this show. Like, you've never missed any time. And in fact, every time I've asked you guys even to do like a special show spur of the moment, you're there.
Always there, bro.
So that's pretty cool. And we have She-Wolf. How you doing?
Yo, we've never, like, even Console Corner, we've never, I don't even think we've ever canceled a Tuesday either.
Really?
Yeah.
There was one time where even where GKB was late and you had a bunch of people fill in.
Still did it.
Yeah. You were just like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm dying. I'm dying. I'm sick. So, yeah, but then you still did it, and everybody showed up, and it was like a really good show. So, yeah, that the Xbox community came out in force, and you guys did a show yesterday. And GKB, you do like a couple other shows now too, don't you? You do like the shop, and then you do the new one with Blam, right?
Yeah, it's like the world tour every week, bro.
Yeah. Is he doing that one every week?
No, we're gonna do that one bi-weekly. Just with the the stuff we're planning for next year. I just won't have the time to do it every week.
Yeah. Well, I noticed that a lot of people like plan their stuff out for like for next year. It's like a fresh start. You know, they got like all these ideas and stuff, and I do too. So like that's pretty cool. What about you, Hellhammer? What the hell you got going on? Nothing. I don't know, beating your gamer score.
Yeah, just beating your gamer score on Forza, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, I mean. He's Trollhammer. I'm just gonna say it. Earlier today,
hardly even troll.
Earlier today, me and Hellhammer, you would think we were like seriously arguing, but Hellhammer's all like going in about how great PC gaming is, and he was like making fun of me. He's like, yeah, because you don't cry about games going to PC. Where games going to PC? And he was like doing all this stuff. Like he's trying to trigger me, and it doesn't really work because I'm like a professional troll, man. I know how to troll. I could take it, but it was just like the most hilarious thing. He was just like making fun of me, and I was like, that's pretty funny, Trollhammer. You know what I mean? But yeah, he's like, I got troll. Yeah, it was pretty funny though. You guys miss it. It's like good brotherly stuff. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, it's good times.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Yes, happy holidays. Thank you. Okay, so the big news, well, I guess it's kind of big news. Crytek closed down a lot of their studios. I don't know if this was that much of a surprise because they were bless you.
Sorry.
Bless you. Yes, it's okay. Yeah, so they closed down a lot of studios. They say they're only going to be focusing on some of the bigger IPs and things like that. And here's the question that I bring up with this is who didn't see this coming? First of all, they weren't paying anybody. Second of all, the only games that they've made recently, they made Rise in 2013, which I guess didn't have like tremendous success or anything. And then they made some VR game for the PlayStation VR that I'm going to guess probably didn't sell very well. I mean, Robinson the Journey or something like that. And then they also had Warface or something like that, right?
What do you expect for a company that basically makes glorified benchmarks?
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, and you know what was funny was a lot of people were like, Microsoft should buy up them studios or do whatever. I'm like, listen, Crytek would be a waste of money, because look, they've done
the engine.
Yeah, they've done Crysis, which are good. They're like Guerrilla Games, which is a waste of a studio, in my opinion. They make good-looking games with really crappy stories, with the exception of Rise, which had really good story, but was really kind of had a lot of other flaws, like repetitiveness and, a lack of variety and things like that. So, I mean, not as bad as what the reviewer said. That game's a good, like, 7 to 8. It's somewhere in between there. But
Crap, you got Master Chief in the chat, says Crytek closed down. Thanks, Mooch and Crap. Listen, first of all, keep those coming. Those just never get old. Honestly, I've had such a stressful, and GKB could probably attest to this. Like, generally, this is the weeks that you can chill at work, but my work has been more stressful the past 2 weeks than ever before, just because of deadlines and such. So I look on Twitter, not as much as I usually get to, and I see those thanks to Mooch and Crap, and honestly, I start laughing to death. Like, they just get better and better. But no, in all honesty, Crap, we've said this back before with Fable creators at Lionhead. A lot of times in business you can get addition by subtraction, and sometimes you got to cut the fat. You know what I mean? These guys here, they haven't produced in a long time. These people, they weren't being paid, but they also weren't making anything. You know what I mean? Like, if you have a bunch of people that are all for one and one for all, right? Let's say the 4 of us, 5 of us show up and we're like, we're going to start a business, but Crap's the actual president of the company, right? Crap cuts the checks.
Crap. Yes.
President Crap cuts the checks. But meanwhile, you got Hellhammer, me, GKB, and She-Wolf doing nothing, okay? Nothing, really. We're not producing. We're not giving anything out there. And we're like, all we do is
the best job ever.
You know what? Exactly, right? We've been getting paid for 3 years, not doing anything. All of a sudden, for like the past 4 months, we're like, hey, haven't got a paycheck in a while. And the Crap's like, yeah, you haven't done shit in fucking, about 3 years. So, I mean, people see this and they're like, all of a sudden everybody gets their markers out and they're fucking their posts, save the devs. Save the devs. And it's like, why are we fucking protesting? Everybody's got listen, guys, it doesn't matter what you do. Just because you're a game dev, it doesn't give you a pass. You know what I mean? You don't get a multi-pass. You've got to earn your keep. So, I mean, these guys just haven't put anything out. And then not just that, not only did Rise Crap not do well, but look at their stuff in the back. I bought Crysis 2 day 1, okay? Nobody liked Crysis. They thought it was beautiful,
boring.
but it was boring as shit.
Yeah,
and that's
pretty generic.
Exactly. It's the same thing I say about Crytek. It's the same thing I say about Guerrilla Games. Beautiful game, boring game. All in the same sentence.
Microsoft could have bought Crytek years and years ago. But the reasoning behind not buying that studio was they already had a sci-fi shooter that was better than Crysis. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So there was really no point in it, you know. And I think it's right. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, they need to buy it." And I'm like, I don't know. And then we can get into some of the stuff that Phil said later. But GKB, what is your kind of thoughts on the studio closing down and kind of what that means?
I kind of side on the side of buying Crytek, not for the standpoint of like keeping the studio open or anything like that. It sucks that people lose their job, and Mooch is right. If you're not doing anything, they're not going to pay you. It's time to move on. But picking up those IPs and the Crytek engine, I think would be a good purchase for Microsoft.
Yeah, having the engine would be good.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you can use that in a bunch of different games. Like it's a really good engine. Keep some of those engineers and developers and stuff to work on that and keep up on that. And you can even license that to other people to use as well. So. I'm more of pick it up just for that kind of stuff in the IPs.
Yeah, I mean they licensed it to Amazon, and then Amazon worked some of it or something like that, and so they actually have something like that going on because they needed to make some money or something like that. Yeah. For me, I think that it would have made sense for Microsoft to buy the IP, Rise IP, and then pay them as a second party studio to produce it. That way they don't have to front any of the money. You know, Microsoft is paying it, but then Microsoft also wins because they'll own the IP, one, and two, they aren't going to have to pay that studio anymore after the games are done. They're not going to keep the lights on, paying for lunches and, you know what I mean, all that kind of stuff, because you don't want the same situation with Fable, you know, where they hadn't really created a game since 2010. And so you're just paying these developers to basically play tiddlywinks. You know what I mean? Like they're not doing anything. Right. You know, you're doing a Connect game or a little arcade game or whatever, but that's not your main force.
This for me though, Crap. What's the deal? Like I thought the Crytek engine or the Cry engine, I thought that was sold. People are like, no, Mooch, it's sold to Amazon. I mean,
it's not sold. They leased it. Yeah,
okay.
They like leased it out to Amazon.
But the thing is, though, now, people were telling me online, they were like, listen, you know, you could basically get the same effects now with what? Unreal Engine 4 and what Microsoft has in their pocket and other technologies. You don't really need to. My point is Microsoft doesn't need to spend that money on them. I just don't think they need it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on how expensive it would be. You know what I mean?
And it's also
get pretty cheap right now.
Prestige of stuff made in the Crytek engine. People just like that kind of stuff. I mean, the thing is that the Crytek engine uses very low resources, but can still put pretty high fidelity graphics.
Yeah.
Well, isn't like Unreal Engine 4 would be the easier engine to actually use, though, right? I mean, that people are more used to using that engine, like Unreal 3, Unreal 4, like everybody uses that engine. Whereas the Cry engine, I'm not sure exactly if anybody uses that.
I don't think they're using it as like a main market one. It's probably just for like Crytek themselves. But like when you look at game engines, they have a lot of similarities. Like there's not like really one engine that, you know, doesn't do what other engines do. It's just how it's programmed and developed for. That's really the only difference.
Yeah. What about you, She-Wolf? How do you, I mean, like more game devs closing. I mean, that's not good, but
well, it's 5. Like really, when we step back, they're keeping 2 and then 5 of them are closing. Like that's a pretty big deal. And you know, a lot of people were like, well, we really want a sequel for Rise. We really want one. And the chances of that are pretty slim now, especially when, you know, their focus is to make, as they said in, I quote, they want to make an attractive studio. It's just, it does suck, like everyone has said, you know, seeing people lose their jobs, especially so close to Christmas and everything else like that. Like it is a big transition that everybody for them is going to have to go through. But at the same time, if like what Mooch said, if they're just sitting around not doing anything, then what's the point in paying them as well? You know, like that's this studio wanting to make sure that they're going to stay alive in general. It's not even just about like whether or not these smaller ones that are inside of, you know, Crytek actually stay together. It's more or less they don't want to lose Crytek altogether. And if the only way of doing so is to get rid of these 5 that aren't doing anything, then that's what they have to do. It's a business point.
That's exactly the addition by subtraction. You know, if you want to keep the creme de la creme around, this happens. This happened in the automobile industry in the 80s. And not just that, it's not like the 5 subsections of Crytek showed up and they're like, hey, Jimmy, the door's locked. What happened? I don't know. Try pulling it a little harder. No, it's still locked. Oh, it says closed. You know what I mean? Like, layoffs are coming months in advance. So a lot of people are like, oh my God. And if this isn't you, it's like people on the internet, like, oh my God, it's Christmas time. They don't have a job. They knew they were getting laid off. And believe me, they all signed up for unemployment or whatever Germany has. Or they found new jobs because these people are definitely developers. They can develop. Okay. They can develop. It's just that they weren't developing. Okay. They can develop. They weren't developing.
Well, what the hell? They had 5 studios closing down, and they weren't working on anything. You know what I mean?
That really comes down to the heads, really. I mean, if you're a programmer or a designer or something like that.
But Hellhammer, how about the management? You've got these people on Twitter for the past 3 years being like, we want Rise 2, we want Rise 2. If I was sitting at one of the corporate meetings at Crytek, I'd be like, does anybody want me to actually approach Microsoft and see if we can cut a deal? You know what I mean? Like, why nobody over there listen, I don't care how big your pride is, okay? And this happens a lot. So I told you, my whole family's off the boat. Sometimes the Italian pride thing is so freaking big, it gets in the way of business, it gets in the way of family, it gets in the way of everything. And with these people, same thing happens with the Japanese, same thing happens with the Germans. You know, an American company, sometimes they're like, I hate that guy. A year later, they're like, he is offering me a lot of money. I love that son of a bitch. And if you don't believe me, just check out any sports team. Right? How many times? Look at what's his name there? Kevin Durant. I hate those goddamn Warriors. Hey, can I get that in an extra large? You know what I mean? He's wearing the jersey next year. Listen, money talks in America. That's what I like about America, okay? Capitalism strives because no matter what is going on, no matter who doesn't like who, there's always a dollar amount that somebody will come work for you. And that's what we do here, you know? So you have somebody, when Hellhammer just said, you know, the problem's at the top, I can't agree with them more. It's somewhere not even in the developers problematic. It's more in management. Somebody in management would not pick up the phone and call fucking Phil McPhil. What do I got to do? What do I got to do to get a $10 million check drop? And we're going to get you the best looking Rise 2, whatever you want. You know?
Yeah, I mean, if your leadership isn't giving you clear directions to make something, I mean, you can't really do anything.
Well, okay, hold on. Saying that like management isn't any of these developers, as we all have all seen them talk out and say, oh, you know, we're proud, we're doing this, we're doing that. I'm sure any of these developers could have came up with ideas and brought them to the manager. There could have been something that was brought up. I'm sure there is more than one person that has the whole, not imagination team, but like the development team and stuff like that, that actually are the creative team. I'm sure there has to be more people than just one person in a creative team that could have gave these people jobs to do something, but clearly they just weren't working towards that goal. What they want to do, Crytek wants to just take the best and make their company the best, because that's what they need to do at this step in any of gaming right now, because it is becoming such a harder industry to get into and stay alive in.
Yeah, I agree 110%. I mean, you're going to listen, you know what the end result here? When you see this kind of stuff happening, the real winner is going to be people like, well, this sucks for gamers. We're going to have less this and less that. That's not true. That's not true. What you're going to get now is a better crop of games coming out from the elite developers. You know, that's what ends up happening.
Crytek's idea, like years ago, they were like, we're really going to focus on the free-to-play market and this. Look, free games is not a sustainable business source. I don't care what anybody says.
But they're relying on the whole add-ons and DLC, like all the DLC.
Yeah, and I get that.
There's only a few games that can keep that free-to-play model going. It's like League of Legends. It's stuff that people, it grabs people's attention and stuff like that. But you can't. Not everybody can just go and put out a free-to-play game with some extra shit added to it and expect to keep the lights on.
Yeah, so I mean, look, you had 5 studios that are closing down. That sucks. And then we look like the bad guys because we're not like, oh man, and it's the holidays and man.
I honestly don't. To be honest with you, I don't really care because the only game I enjoyed that Crytek made was Rise.
Yeah,
otherwise, outside of that, Crysis wasn't that good. You know what I use Crysis for? A benchmark for my fucking computer.
What I hear more. Go ahead, GKB.
To be honest, I don't think they're really like, you know, hurting at all. They probably got like a nice severance package and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Too,
yeah, they're on vacation right now. They're fine. Nobody's starving.
So I mean, do you guys think that that Microsoft will buy anything from them or anything like that?
Nothing. They won't even buy the mats.
Probably not, but I'd like to see them buy, you know, the engine and all that kind of stuff, but probably not.
I'd like to see them at least buy Rise, but I don't think that they're going to
look at what Microsoft's buying, guys. They're buying Havoc. They're buying something that when they buy something, it touches a million other parts or different products. They're not buying something that just they can acquire and they're only going to use it for, once every 4 years.
Plus, at the same time, Rise. How much did Rise actually sell? Like, I'm not big on numbers, so do any of you guys actually know if that game actually sold?
We don't know. I mean, it could have probably sold 1 million. I mean, you could probably guess at about 1 million.
I would say 1 million or more, yeah.
Yeah, see, Microsoft is going to look at the fact that sequels are great to have, yes, but at the same time, as much as people beg and want sequels, soon as it comes out, they're like, oh, well, this came out instead. And, I've already played the first one. So, no,
Well, I can tell you right now, if that shit came out, Rise 2, GKB would have that shit day one.
Well, I would have it too.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a few, I'm sure there are some that would jump on that quickly, but it's just the fact that, there's still a good variety of casual gamers who this is what these companies rely on to buy these games, are just going to look at what else is coming out in that time frame that isn't necessary to buy this sequel. And if they even played the first one to begin with, it's a smart move, but at the same time could be a bad move by Microsoft. But it's a toss-up.
I think at this point that with the state that Crytek is going right now, that Microsoft could probably get it for basically a song anyways.
Be like, hey, here's $500 and a lunch and a Lunchable, and how about you give us that Rise IP?
Yeah.
And they're kind of backed in a corner.
I want to go like.
You guys know nostalgia is a hell of a drug, but now we're getting real bad here, guys. Okay, because nostalgia is a hell of a drug. I was always pertaining to the PS1 era, Nintendo era, Sega era, and now we're saying nostalgia is a hell of a drug in 2013. Hear me out. Nobody really liked Rise when it came out. Okay, it was a pretty game. We all agreed that it was a pretty game. And
I liked it.
I know. I know.
I liked it too.
Liked it. I liked it.
I didn't. But that's okay. That's fine. It doesn't. Who gives a shit what I thought? What I'm trying to say is this: the general public didn't really give a shit.
Yes, I'll agree with that statement.
And with that being said, okay, people. This is my point. My point wasn't that. That's the known factor. The unknown factor is I try to read between the lines when people tweet out. Okay, and what people say about Rise 2 is, don't give me more of the same. Everyone's like, I want Rise 2, but I want you to change it to a whip and bows and arrows, and I want this and I want that. It's like a kid sitting on Santa's lap. So what you guys are really saying is you want the title Rise, you want the graphics of Rise, and not Rise at all, is what you guys are saying.
Isn't this kind of the same thing that we see in almost every game? Like, look at even Call of Duty when they brought the remaster back. Everybody wanted it, but how many people are still actually playing it? Because they actually ended up complaining because they couldn't do the boosting, the wall running, and they couldn't do, again, there are still quite a few that do play it that wanted it, but there's still that big majority that always want something, they get it, and it's not what they actually...
Which game were you talking about, She-Wolf?
The remaster of Call of Duty.
Okay, yeah. Yep. No, I agree with you. Everyone was like, I gotta have it. Yes. Remember, I mean, I gotta call out GKB and crap because they were like, it's the next coming of Christ. And I was saying, listen, yes, I get it. But it's the nostalgia thing. You don't want to go every night. Like Blizzard Mountain came out the other night, and I'm like, crap, what are you going to play tonight? He's like, Blizzard Mountain. He's not going to play fucking something that he played 1 million hours of 10 years ago. Nobody is. But we all sit here, even me, okay? Let me not just bust on those two. I'll bust my own balls, all right? Here's my thing. I wanted BioShock Collection. And have I played it? Yes, I have. But have I played it like nonstop? Hell no. Because I'm playing Dead Rising 4. I want to get into the fucking Blizzard Mountain shit, right? It's like, well, am I going to put those two things down to go do the exact same secrets and doors open that I know in BioShock?
I don't mean to cut you off, but Jay Watts makes a great point. A lot of people wanted a sequel to Mirror's Edge, and how many people actually bought Catalyst?
I have it because it's in the EA Access.
I have it
vault.
too, EA Access.
I haven't touched it.
But it had to come to EA Access because it hardly sold.
But I think that's probably a poor point though on that anyways, because I mean basically from my understanding Catalyst was a garbage. I haven't played it, so I can't say for sure, but for people I know who are big fans of the first one, a lot of people didn't like Catalyst.
Well, first of all, they went into like a big open world thing, which that game didn't need, first of all. But anyway, like, what's funny is because Phil Spencer took to Twitter yesterday, and that's one of the things that he does really well. Like, if you're an Xbox fan, you can actually talk to these people and interact. And if you give them criticisms, they'll actually respond to a point, and then they unfollow your ass. But anyway,
Phil. Well,
yeah.
since you have a spot open on your follow list, GKB is available. I'm just saying.
But you know what? Like, people are asking him. They're like, yo, Phil, like, you should do a Rise 2, but make it more realistic. And then you got some people who are like, yeah, but make sure you have magical powers. And it reminds me of this Simpsons episode.
But I'm just saying, though, Catalyst is a perfect example. But Catalyst is a perfect example of, you know, everyone's sitting on the fact of having a Rise 2. You want it, but you want to change it, but then you don't want them to change it, and then it comes out, and then it's not what you want. Like,
so they're like, how many of you would like Rise to deal with real life problems like the ones you face every day? And everybody's like, yeah. And then they're like, now who would want to see them deal with just the opposite, getting into far out situations involving robots and magic powers? And then they're all like, yeah. So at the end of the day, they're like, you want a realistic, down to earth game that's completely off the wall and swarming with magic robots. You know what I mean? It's like these people don't know what they want. You know what I mean? And that's why we're just the gamers, and they're like the developers.
Let me ask GKB and Crap. Same kind of question, but I'm going to twist it a little. Now, you guys got your boots on the. This was the fall of boots on the ground. Okay, you had your Battlefield 1, and you had your Call of Duty remastered. Mm-hmm. Aren't you guys ready for fucking futuristic again? I mean, like, I got to be honest with you, like.
No, hold on. Here's one for you, Mooch. GKB, which one have you played more? Modern Warfare or Infinite Warfare?
Ooh, good question. I don't know off the top of my head.
I
I'd probably say Infinite Warfare.
I bet you'll tell me how many hours you've played of both.
I bet you Infinite Warfare is probably more.
Somebody cue the Jeopardy music theme, please.
Well, you haven't played that Christmas map?
I was playing that on community game time, like when we all.
It's hilarious, isn't it? They're like, he's like, awesome. Yeah,
it's the best map ever.
Listen, and look, GKB, there's really no wrong answer here. Like, this isn't just to pinpoint anybody out in particular. My whole thing is just that we've talked about this for the past 3-4 months, and now that it's all come to fruition and we all have these titles, they're all out. Myself personally, I prefer the, what we said we didn't like. I prefer the jumping around with the space suits and the fucking wall running and stuff. Because to be honest with you, it's been there, done that with the other shit. And when you guys forget, we did that for like a half a decade. So like, you go back, you feel it, you go, this is cool. Now I remember why I'm bored. And then you just go to if anything, it makes you appreciate it. This is my whole pitch. Whenever the family's like, hey, we need to go on vacation. You know what vacation really is? You go on vacation with your family to miss what the fuck home was like, okay? Because when you go on vacation with kids and fucking in-laws and you go out, you can't wait to come home. Yeah. So it's the same shit here when you're like, you know what I miss? I miss a decade ago. If you had a time machine, you went back, you'd be like, fucking get me back home. I miss even the bullshit on multimedia.
Here's the point, though, I wanted to make about like the Crytek engine, though, is like when you look at the Crytek engine, for Frostbite, I think it's the only one that can really compete with the Frostbite engine. Like, it just has that graphic fidelity like the Frostbite. And I thought, like, what if Microsoft picks this up, they do the next Halo or whatever with that kind of engine. Could you imagine, like, how great that would look? Like, it would be fantastic.
Oh, yeah, that would look
really
great.
show off the power of the Scorpio. Like, the tech is there, and that would be phenomenal. You know what? Like, to the audience listening, you know what I want for Christmas? I want every one of you to hit that like button. Is that too much to ask? Come on, like, seriously, making me beg for like I got the Salvation Army tin.
We got almost 400. Come on,
please. They make you work for it, Crap.
No, I'm telling you, man.
Please hit that like button, please. Please, can I have another?
Crap loves those likes, man.
I do. Like, it helps out, like, for ways. I'll talk a little bit about it off air, but yeah, it definitely helps out. If everybody could, like, hit that like button, just show that you appreciate everybody. We're doing a show a few days before Christmas for you guys, your entertainment, and we even got Mooch here. Like, come on.
Yeah. Like, I'm not here every Wednesday, but
I know we got Mooch and we got She-Wolf, and actually She-Wolf has completely stepped up. She's been talking nonstop, and people were like,
It's true.
We were like, last week, people were like, that She-Wolf, she doesn't even talk. She fall asleep on you, Crap. I'm like, I don't know, probably.
I know. They're like, get her off the show. It's like, wow. 1 week, I don't talk about hardware, and you want to take me off the show. Wow.
Me and JKV thought we were going to get, like, slaughtered or something that day. We had to fill in for Mooch. They're like,
no,
guys.
It's a tough crowd.
Yeah, you know what? I was surprised by how many people were like, the show's good, nothing against GKB and Hellhammer, but
Get the fuck off.
Yeah, get the off.
Like,
All right,
fuck you
bro.
guys. See you later.
Jeez.
Yeah,
It's like showing up to a charity event at Christmas dressing up like Santa Claus. They're like, you're not the real Santa Claus, and they kick you in the balls.
yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh,
So yesterday, Phil Spencer, he was talking about like new IP and stuff. He says new Xbox IP need a few things. They need good sales and room to expand in order to get sequels. So basically, what this tells me is, if a game doesn't get a sequel, that's on us. Like, maybe not us personally, but that's on the Xbox gamers.
But I think it was a really cryptid message that Phil said earlier in the week, right? Or maybe it was the end of last week. Remember when they asked him, are we going to be getting Rise 2 and Sunset Overdrive 2? And he was like, listen, he's like, sometimes sequels do kind of give more to the hardcore. But he's like, I like bringing the new IP out to keep introducing gaming in a fresh way to new people who are gaming. Basically saying, listen, I understand that everybody from 21 to 60 has been gaming for a while, but there's somebody this year who's 10 years old that's picking a controller up for the first time that may enjoy a new, fresh IP. So, I mean, but that's a confusing thing. It's
Xbox
true.
Doesn't have any variety, though.
Well,
that's kind of...
But isn't it kind of like movies, though? Like, only certain ones really actually do well when they have sequels, and then other ones that constantly keep having sequels just should have stopped at the first one.
Yeah.
And it's like, we see that in games where, you have Halo, you have Gears, you have Uncharted. These games can stand on their own. They can give you those sequels because of the storyline, where other games like Rise and, say, Sunset Overdrive, they were great games, yes, but at the same time, if they were to bring the sequel, would it actually give you the story that you actually wanted, or is it going something else because they have to, because the game wasn't actually created to be a sequel?
Exactly. That's my point. That's my exact point with Rise. Okay, before everybody just says, I want Rise 2, listen to what they're saying. They don't just say, I want Rise 2. They say, I want Rise 2, comma, and then they have a run-on sentence for about 8 miles. Like, just change this, change that, do this, get a new character. I want all kinds of new weapons. Do this. Bring it into another era of Roman era. It just goes on and on. Basically, what you're saying is you want a whole new game. So, I mean, she was right. Sometimes things were meant to just end, and that's okay. I mean, you have things like Godfather that got really, really good. Godfather 3, we're not going to talk about. But I mean, we're not going to talk about it.
That movie doesn't exist, in my opinion. I don't.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? That's my whole point. So, like, it is what it is. But I mean, there's certain movies that deserved, and the second one brought them up. I personally feel this way, okay? Of all the ones people wish for, and I'm not even going to ask for my own opinion on what I think because I'm not a game developer. The two games, if you want to, I think strongly need a sequel, would be Recore and I think Sunset Overdrive. And my only explanation, not my opinion, my explanation is based on credentials. Recore has an amazing group of developers behind it, and they only skimmed the surface you could tell that was a very low budget they had, okay? Mm-hmm. But the mechanics are
Unity
crisp.
Engine, for Christ's sake.
Right, but the mechanics are crisp. When you have gameplay that's 110% that people love, you can add artwork later, and they can do that. Now, hear me out. The other one is Sunset Overdrive. Ted Price and his team have not let anybody down in the past 4 years. That's just the way it is. Even when they made that rinky-dinks Deep of the Sea for GameStop, okay? It's quality. You don't have to like it. I'm not saying it's enthralling or I couldn't wait to come home and play it, but it was still a quality game for that price tag, and it was put out by GameStop, publisher. My point. So you have an amazing team with Ted Price and his people at Insomniac, and the developers that they got that were Metroid Prime and another gentleman that helped with Recore. Very, very talented sons of bitches. So when you put those people back in there with a budget, you will have a successful number 2, in my personal opinion. You notice when I gave that, I didn't say, well, they need to change this, they need to do that. No. Let them decide what they have to do. But when you start saying Rise didn't really have – Crytek sucks. They make a terrible game.
Well, it's not just that. It's the endings. You have to look at how an ending kind of, finishes off, is there an opening to actually have another story added into it where it's not just coming out of someone's ass? Or
Right. Hold on. Rise, maybe not so much, but Quantum Break certainly, but neither one of those are going to get sequels. Now, our friend Jez, he asked Phil yesterday on Twitter, and I'm looking at the tweets. He says, going from what you said about Rise, should we ever expect new Microsoft Studio IP to get sequels? Does it depend on sales or not so much? And Phil responded, sales are part. IP has to have room to expand and team to expand. I'm always learning, sometimes painful, sometimes with a smile. And then he goes on to say, Jez goes on to say, I find myself already thinking, should I bother getting invested in the characters of Scalebound, knowing it could be a one-shot? And Phil responded, it's the same with TV shows or movies, but we've also seen sequels that did as much harm as good. Balance is really tough. Because basically, bringing out sequels keeps the core gamers happy, which is what Phil said as well. But new IP bring growth to gaming and things like that. So I think, and he said that the balance is the key, and that's tough because you want to keep the core gamers happy. And so what he's doing is a little bit different than, say, Donnie Matrick. Because you know what? I had my timeline flooded today with people, and these are people that don't really, I don't know if they're trolls or what, but they're like, yeah, Donnie D, he was really like this, and he was so much better than Phil. I'm like, listen, what did Donnie Matrick do besides switch it over to Connect, give us a bunch of casual shit and took away our hardcore stuff? They reduced us down to 1 to 2 AAA exclusive a year. And then he was the one that introduced the Xbox One with the Kinect as the only option. You know what I mean? Like, he basically almost ruined Xbox. What are people talking about when they say they like the way Donnie ran things? Are you crazy? Are you smoking crack? Get out of here. Phil is an actual gamer. Donnie wasn't. And Phil actually is listening to what gamers want. Donnie didn't. Never did. You know what I mean? Never did. Fuck Donnie Matrick.
Well, I don't know. There's two avenues to look at that crap, right? Yeah, definitely, F Donnie in that sense, right? But there was a couple things that Donnie did as far as so Phil was going into the whole, what Sony's doing right now and locking down DLC, or maybe even what they did with Bloodborne was kind of not growth, right? But see, for me, I will say this, though. Shout out to Xbox Junkie, who made it. When Phil tweeted that, Xbox Junkie really wrote a good amount of tweets in response to that to Phil. And he said, listen, he said, Phil, the only thing is and not to disagree, but to make a counter argument to that is, this is a very crucial time right now. This isn't the days of having a disc or a cartridge anymore, okay? This is a time of digital, and digital is permanent, okay? Digital is a tattoo. We are making a tattoo, a carbon footprint into the console of choice right now. So when you don't go locked down, right now you want to get as many people on your piece of plastic as possible because people are buying more and more digital. Mikey Barra did a poll. 8,000, just under 8,000 people replied. Okay, this wasn't 800 or 8 people. 8,000 people replied. It was 50-50 digital or physical. He did it yesterday, and it was interesting. I mean, that's a lot of people, okay, that responded to that. Does that speak for everybody? Absolutely not. Yeah. But it's a good poll. It's a good poll. If you're at 50%, what Junkie was saying on Twitter was basically, you have to lock people in. So if that means locking down Rise of the Tomb Raider, or like what Sony's doing, locking down Spider-Man, or locking down Bloodborne, which has that Dark Souls follow, it gets certain people to lock in games digitally, and then when a sequel comes out, you're like, well, I already have that one digitally on this console. I think I will purchase the second or third one, or another iteration, or maybe I won't even buy the other one because I've started a digital collection over here. This is a pivotal time, and a lot of you guys can argue with me, but you have to understand, if I'm going to use I'm picking on GKB tonight, but if he's got like 100 digital games over the threshold of 2013 to the end of this era, or more, he's going to have more than 100. He has 200. All of a sudden, somebody goes, dude, there's so many great games coming out for PlayStation. He's going to go, listen, I have 170 games digitally purchased on my Xbox ecosystem. It's why Apple fans really, that's why when you guys, it's such a struggle. It's really hard when you pull. It's easy for people to pull Samsung people over. It's really hard for you guys to pull Apple people out. Because once you're invested in the iTunes ecosystem, leaving is a detrimental. It's like burning your own wallet. Everything you've purchased, everything you own.
Hey, I got an idea. Let's do a poll here. Type 1 if you're digital, 2 if you're physical. in the chat. I'd like to see how you guys are all doing.
Everyone's
one
actually
digital,
just writing digital.
I know because I type, but do 1 digital, 2 physical. I'm curious to see how that is. See how you guys are, because I was 100% physical, and Hellhammer will tell you now it's like we're mostly digital.
Yeah.
Like honestly, because
I mean, it just
You
makes
know
more
what?
sense.
You know what's kind of funny is GKB, like before, I was a PC player before I was an Xbox player, and GKB
Burn.
actually has a whole bunch of like 360 games and everything, and he was always like collecting physical copies, and then just what was it? Just
When
the
the
beginning
Xbox
of
One.
this year?
Yeah,
Or
when
was
we
it,
started like getting into the Xbox One, and they had the share. You could share the games and all that kind of stuff. We just switched to digital.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it just turned out to be cheaper for us
It's
to
just-
be able to afford games. So it just sometimes
Yeah,
I
like-
think
like-
it's just easier.
Yeah, I mean, look, the game share thing is a perfectly legitimate thing. Basically, if you read the license agreement, Microsoft gives you two
2 licenses.
licensees.
Yes.
For each game that
Technically,
you
though,
buy.
there is one crappy part though. Like if you get a shitty game that you're just never gonna play again, you're kind of stuck with it. Where if you
Well-
had the physical, you could just like take it to the store and trade it in.
Yeah, you could get your $3 from GameStop.
Yeah,
You could argue that as well, but I mean, look, the basic thing is though, still the digital stuff is still just much better as a whole. I don't have to have a whole shelf taken up full of discs.
Absolutely.
If I'm sitting back somewhere, I don't have to get up and switch out my disc to start up my game.
It's funny because earlier in the generation, these things we're saying, we were like first world problems. But now it's like if you've had a refrigerator in the past decade that makes ice cubes for you in the door, and then I'm like, hey, I'm taking that shit out tomorrow, putting it in one of those old original GE ones people put in apartments, and you gotta fucking make your own ice cubes. That's not even a big deal. It's not even a big deal. But you'd be like, you fucking suck, Mooch. Give me back my fucking fridge.
Oh my
You
god! Okay, just because you said that, I can actually completely relate to that because we had one of those fridges that made the ice cubes, and then my mom came down to visit and she broke it, and then it didn't work, and I had to make ice cubes, and
It's
it was
the worst
horrible.
in the world. Isn't it awful? And I mean, that's such a simple, like when people are
Well,
like,
yeah, and then
Mooch,
you
is it
also
really...
have to find spots to put it in your freezer, and it takes up more
First world
room.
problem.
and-
The updates happen automatically with digital, right? So all of a sudden, crap goes, hey, let's play, whatever. Let's just Modern Warfare, and there was an update right. The Christmas thing came in, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. It's spur of the moment. It's like everyone's like hot and heavy, ready to play. You pop the disc in, it's like 20 gig update.
I would be
it's
first in
like-
line because I used to be like all like collecting the physical games and everything like that. I would be first in line to take the 20 or 30 or so physical games that I have and have a way to trade those in and make them digital copies.
Yeah, I mean, look.
Yeah, hold on. I just have to say this. Tommy said the perfect one. I have to make my own ice cubes. Thanks, Mooch and Crap.
Nice.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. So just getting back to what Phil, when he's talking about growth, for those that don't know, he says he loves what people are doing with like the Halo 5 Forge right now because it has amazing creativity. And he says paying marketing funds so another console base can't play a piece of content doesn't feel like growth. So I don't think he's so much talking about like time game exclusives or anything like that as like full games, because I think that he gets what you're saying, like with the Rise of the Tomb. A lot of people were assuming, they're like, but isn't that hypocritical? Because Rise of the Tomb Raider, right? But look, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and I'll say this even for Sony with the Street Fighter stuff, right? That game wasn't getting made without Sony's funds. Rise of the Tomb Raider, even if that game would have been made, it would have been episodic because they didn't have the money. So Microsoft stepped in and saved that game. Sony stepped in and saved Street Fighter. So you won't hear me bitching about that. What I think he might be talking about, which is why, if you notice, when Phil took over, they stopped the marketing deal with the Call of Duty stuff, right? And even though they do marketing deals still, they're not getting content that's really key, except for the Division. But if you go back to look when that first was announced, the Division partnership might have been announced right before Phil Spencer took over. Because we were seeing Division stuff even prior to that. So that could have already been in the books. I don't know. But he hasn't done any content keeping it away from anybody, where Sony, they're doing content. Like the Destiny content is keeping it off Xbox for 2 years. 2 years. That's not helping gaming. And that's one thing I agree with, because I think that Phil actually cares about the growth of gaming because he sees it as something that's declining a bit. And he'll speak out on it, and he basically flat out said Sony isn't helping that, you know what I mean, without saying Sony, but basically paying marketing funds so other consoles can't play a piece of content It's not growth. It's bullshit. It doesn't really help anybody. It doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, who does it help?
Yeah, it just splits the communities, really.
But it's
I
not
mean,
even
basically.
that. It's hard on the developers because, you know, obviously they want to make the most money that they possibly can from the content that they're creating. And to turn around and hold on to something for 2 years or just full exclusive completely, it's taking away from the developer being able to make more money from the other gamers as well.
Let's be fair. They're getting a nice check from, you know, the fucking publishers.
Oh, yeah,
like
they're
Microsoft
getting
and Sony.
money.
They're
You know,
getting some money.
What really sucks though is as a developer, if you're really like a developer that cares about making games and that sort of thing, it sucks that you because of somebody higher up basically took a big check. Now all of a sudden your vision for your game or whatever the case may be isn't available for everyone who's a fan.
I mean, you know, the thing is, you guys make great points, and the, you know, the Xbox side of me, it totally agrees with you. Especially like you know, Destiny, I really enjoy, and the thing is that like, yeah, I lost some content with the DLC thing, but I hate to say it, guys, this isn't like money talks, right? I mean, you don't understand. Do you understand that in Oklahoma City they actually have a fucking road called like Durant Way? Do you understand? They really, I'm not joking. Like they have that. He left for maybe to win a ring and a couple of bucks. My point being is like money talks. And if Microsoft wants, the thing I don't understand is I don't know because I don't get to sit at the fancy boardroom. I'd love to sit in there and see what goes on. Is what kind of purse, what kind of money that Phil has to play with, you know? Because I'm telling you, even though Microsoft does have more money than most companies in the world, Phil doesn't have an empty checkbook of just checks to write. So I mean, he does have a budget, but when you see things like Bungie, especially when you had that relationship with Bungie, like all those years, like I kind of agree with Bomber. You know, like why would you let Bungie go? Like I just that still baffles me, but that's not what we're talking about.
Hey, Bomber threw a chair.
Dude,
wasn't there some kind of story like that, Hellhammer? Like he threw a chair at someone?
Yeah, when somebody
left
somebody left to go to Google, like when Google was just starting up and becoming kind of a threat to Microsoft for a brief period. And he was like, "You're leaving to Google, fuck you," and like threw a chair at him.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, even though money does talk, at the time, Sony was doing better than Microsoft in a lot of areas when Bungie actually did leave. So to the developers, I think they were trying to look at it in the long run of who was going to give them the best selling for their content.
Well, they lost their gamble.
Well, they did, obviously, because they thought Sony was going to stay strong for this whole generation, where they ended up, falling short this year and stuff. But at the time, I think that's what the developers kind of went more for. Like, I bet you there was 2 offers on the table. They were probably close in some way. But then that's where the developers probably looked into, well, which one's doing better and is probably going to last longer in this whole war, I guess, without officially saying that it's a console war. And I think they went with Sony because of just the fact how well it was doing at that point in time.
I mean, I think Phil Spencer's, saying some really cool, like, pro gamer things, but, like, I think even in his mind, though, at the end of the day, he knows like this stuff is going to continue because like we talk about it all the time. These video games cost so much to develop. Like they have to recoup their money some way. So it's either us paying $100 for a game or $60 or, getting this like special thing because they're on certain platforms, whatever the case they do to get that money back. Like that's what they're going to do. I mean,
listen, time's going to tell shortly, guys, right? I mean, if we find out, if it's a huge if we find out that Microsoft rekindles their relationship with Bungie and grabs Destiny 2, with the whole Scorpio thing, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. And listen, it's all speculation. I don't have any clues. All I'm saying is this. We all know Sony's now merging. They're going to now merge their TV and whatever in with the PS4.
Their movie.
Movies. That's how bad they're doing. Not even doing good in Hollywood right now. Like right now, Mooch and Crap Takes America would make a lot of money. Okay, every movie is doing very well right now, and Sony Entertainment's having a hard time. Anyway,
they just shit the bed with that Ghostbusters movie. So I mean, what do you expect?
So my point being is that if Microsoft does rekindle something with Bungie in Destiny 2 with the whole Scorpio release and all that, because listen, again, just putting 2 and 2 together to get to 4, we got to figure this out. Okay, the end result is Sony's doing Red Dead 2. Sony may be doing the Star Wars Battlefront thing. Sony's doing another Mass Effect Andromeda. Sony's doing Call of Duty. Sony's broke. Okay, and they also invested in PSVR, which sold 68,000 headsets, which equals broke. And they also did very, very poor, I think, on the Pro. The only reason they won November was because the Slim was $220, and you got your own.
Dude, that thing's $195 right now.
Yeah,
$195.
That's what I'm saying. So but that's my point. That's where they're winning NPD is the PS4 Slim is being given away. Listen, don't go. I say this all the time. NPD my ass. It's not just the victory. It's how you win. Sony needs to win. When you sell a console at $195, they're probably either skimming out, breaking even, or they lost $5. Or they lost $5. Right. Yeah. So my point being is they're not making anything on it. So you win NPD, but then when the debt collectors show up, they're like, hey, you won NPD? They're like, yeah, but we lost money. They're like, well, you're a shitty business. So I mean, my point being is now Destiny being popular. See, Sony gambled, and they probably were like, well, who knows if anyone's even going to buy Destiny? It could flop, right? Destiny could have flopped, but it didn't. Now Activision's like, do you see the amount of people playing this on both consoles? And you have PC people begging to get on. We want top dollar. I think they want Call of Duty money. Maybe more. Heck,
doesn't Michael Barr and Phil Spencer themselves actually play this game quite a bit?
They play Destiny a lot.
Absolutely.
A lot. Well, what's funny was Destiny was originally, according to the court documents, was going to be a timed exclusive on Xbox. I'm not sure what happened between that, but if you look at like the whole Vince Zampella court case with Activision and stuff, Microsoft had that as a timed exclusive for at least the first year. So it's kind of surprising to see what had changed.
Hey, let me just answer this jackass in the chat. Jonathan Gilson, he goes, more exclusives and more third-party deals equals broke, according to Mooch. Listen, buddy, right now your first-party studios are putting out a game a year. A game a year.
Oh, that's impossible, Mooch. They've got 1 million games. I've seen the list.
Listen, okay, so you know what's great crap about that list is everybody go to Kind of Funny. They did a breakdown of the games that are coming out. And even Colin and Greg, this is why, again, I respect them more and more every day. Crap, that list that we got from our people that are now Sony fans and such, that list, they go over that list. And Colin Moriarty himself is like, to half of them, he's like, never heard of it, don't care, not playing it. He says in all the Japanese games, he's like, was big on Vita. I played it on Vita like 2 years ago. This is like the 18th iteration. Don't care. Like, he went through it. That's not me talking. That's the biggest. They're the number one Sony PlayStation podcast on YouTube. Well, self-proclaimed, but I think they also do have the numbers. And they're dismissing half of that list, if not more.
Well, hold on. I'm gonna read some of the list here. Berserk and the Band of the Hawk. Hold on. Birthdays, the beginning. Claddon returns. This is Sengoku. Danganronpa 1-2 Reload.
Try saying that one 10 times fast.
Only an evening.
Dino Frontier. Oh wait, that's a PlayStation VR. Let's see. What do we got here? Blah blah blah. Earth Defense Force 5.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? We sit here and
hold on. We're not done. Full Throttle Remaster, Future Unfolding. Let's see here. Hatsune Miku, Project Diva Future Tone. Let's see. I'm not joking. These are the games. Knights and Bikes, Loot Rascals. Let's see.
Loot Rascals.
Next Machina. Let's see here.
My point with these.
I'm not done yet. Hold on.
Crap, the audience is full.
Microsoft should go ahead and shutter their doors for the Xbox division. They're
no, but the thing about it is, a lot of these anime games, okay, they haven't changed their graphic style or their. This is not me speaking again. Tim Geddes, okay, who's on Kind of Funny Games, who's a huge Nintendo guy. He's a huge Japan fan of all the Japanese games. He's like, the biggest problem I have with some of the Nintendo games that are first party and some of the Sony games that are exclusive to them is he's like, they haven't changed the mechanics of the art style in like over a decade. And he's like, I hate to say it, but I'm growing tired and they're getting old. And that's the thing. Nobody ever talks about that. Then you have Recore comes out and people are like, how come there's more sand over here? And it's like, what? I mean, like, Microsoft gets under the microscope for everything. And kind of getting back to where we were, I would like to see Phil. Phil has to understand that. I mean, here I am saying it like he's probably. I guarantee. Listen, a lot of the things Phil tweets isn't what he truly thinks. He's doing PR. You know, he's doing what he. And some of it is, but I'm saying some of it's PR. I mean, he knows he has to get some serious third-party deals locked down, and I'm not talking about Titanfall 3. Okay, I'm talking about something. You know. See you guys in the vault real soon. By the way,
Titanfall's probably done. I mean, that franchise just really. And that's
someone
a shame because
someone said the other night there was 18,000 people. That's just a
probably
terrible.
Hold on, Zing, the land beyond yonder, the cloud capture is still going.
The list
Zero escaped the Nonary games. Zettel Zetsumi Toshi 4 Plus Summer Memories. Hold on, I'm not done yet.
Are you just reading games that are coming out or games that are already out?
This list that's supposed to come out next year on PS4. Future unfolding. Yeah, I mean, like, this is the list, right? These are
that list, yeah.
Yes, this is the list. It's like all these weird games that nobody's heard of. And you know what the funny thing is? They list PlayStation VR games, these little indie games that could possibly still come to Xbox One. And then when they list the Xbox One games, it's always like games that just the big ones or whatever. They never list the indies. They never list the Connect games like Boomball Connect or I've never seen Fru on a list. You know what I mean?
That's
like
actually a pretty good game too.
It is actually. You know, but you never see like it's always so one-sided with these ridiculous lists and these ass buckets to do nothing but like talk up this list, and they make themselves look so stupid. Because people say that game.
Look at all that entire list is you can throw that right into a fire. Nobody cares. My point is this: you still have people saying, excuse me, on Twitter that are like Sony fans. They're like, I don't know if you guys are going to be there, but are you guys going to be there for the Rocket League tournament that's going on? It's like you guys are still talking about Rocket League on that. Yeah, soccer cards.
I know.
I just said it. That they call it the Rocket League Championship tournament. I'm like, listen, nobody cared. Like that, I scroll through that, and we had fun for what, 3 weeks with it, and then it was like, all right, these guys were talking about it for a year. They're still talking about it. Xbox guys were like, okay, cool little indie, nice physics you got there, and they're like, no, tune in next week when we make it a basketball.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Well, hold on. Like, I wanted to bring, like, I know we don't normally like pose questions on this, but I would like to, because a lot of people were tweeting me this kind of stuff today, and I was kind of like in arguments with some people. Right. They're like, Microsoft needs to acquire more studios, open more studios, and I'm like, I don't know. Listen, the studios they have right now are hit machines. You know what I mean? 343, they do Halo. Turn 10 does Forza. The Coalition does Gears. Rare. They do hit stuff. Like the studios they have are worthwhile because they're hit makers, right? And I'm like, well, listen, there's no real need if you can do, you know what I mean? Like, look, Playground Games have done 3 Forza Horizon games, each one amazing. They don't own Playground Games, but they, you know what I mean? It's like you don't, and so it's probably much cheaper to do it that way. You know, like you can get these really classy developers to do your games for you, and you can still own the IP. Yeah. It's like Playground Games can't go release Forza Horizon 5 on PlayStation because Microsoft owns the IP. You know, Microsoft owns the Scalebound IP, even though Platinum Games is making it. They own the Quantum Break IP, even though Remedy made it. And people are like, Microsoft gamer or fanboys only like studio, or they like franchises. They don't like studios or something like that, which I kind of disagreed with because, you know, like Mooch and all you guys liked Halo and you liked Destiny. So, I mean, that would be saying that you like not only games, but the studio. I'm a big Rare fan. I pretty much have liked everything they've done.
Well, can I let me say something, Crap, because this is something I haven't said on the podcast. I want to do a shout out to Livewire. He did a great video the other day, and he talked about Sea of Thieves for 30 minutes. Yeah. And I want to say something.
He's
Crap,
the new Blazing Phoenix.
He is the new Blazing Phoenix.
Shout out to him because Blazing Phoenix is a cool guy too, man. Like
we definitely miss Blazing out there, man. Nobody could talk for an hour and a half without a sip of water like Blazing.
Oh yeah, and a crisp wife beater nonetheless.
But I will say this much. Bob, did you say, well, this is you? That's great. But like in all honesty, Livewire did a great job. She's right.
Zing. I love how it just stops and they just start laughing.
So But yeah, no, Livewire was like, you know what? He goes, here's the deal, okay? He goes, and we all know this, but he put it in black and white, and it was awesome. He's like, you can have a game like Uncharted 4 where the artwork is just stellar. Everything is gorgeous. The detail on people's faces, the emotions, you can capture so much. But the game is so brutally linear that you almost want to throw up because you're like, I've done this a million times. He goes, the thing about Sea of Thieves is it is a little cartoony, but he's like, they made it this cartoon art style that gives you this ability to roam everywhere. The map is massive. It's utterly massive. I did watch the videos. It is a massive map. It's got the amazing potential to work with a lot of friends, a lot of people. It also allows you to play alone. I'm still waiting to see the quest stuff. But he's like, it's different. And he's right, because listen, after I played through the Master Chief Collection, and I'm going through a couple of them twice now, playing Destiny to death, playing Gears when we played the when the remaster came out, Gears 1 was remastered, and then we played Gears 4 for the past 100 hours. You know, it is going to be kind of refreshing to play a game like Sea of Thieves, right? It's something different. It really is. And you know what I said? I'm driving home from work. I'm listening to Live, and I'm like, he makes a lot of great points because it's just something out of all of our wheelhouse. And he's like, give it a shot. He's like, I'm for one and looking forward to it. And Live's a tough motherfucker too, dude. You know what I mean? Like, he's not some like kid. He knows what he's saying. If he's willing to give it a shot, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go into this thing with just open arms.
Well,
yeah, I know.
But there's also the one thing that that really does make Sea of Thieves so different is the fact that we all talk about how when we see these games that they remaster of like the cartoon style games, when they do any new ones, they always tend to keep it where it still looks. And I'm not going to say the word because I'm not going to hear the end of it if I do.
What?
I don't want to say the word. I'm trying to think of another way to say it.
What's it look like?
Yeah, I'm not saying it. I'm gonna figure another way to say it. Okay, so it doesn't have an adult appeal to it as most.
Are you saying we're not adults now, huh?
Like a child?
We should stick with our fleet 60s.
I hate you. But when you look at this game and when you like see the characters in this game, they are by no means what a child would think of when you're looking at a game, especially with that. Like, when you see cartoons, you always think of something fun, something, colorful and bubbly and all that kind of things. Like, even in indies that are scary, like, for instance, Asleep Among Us, it was like this child that was running around, but it was still cutesy, if that makes any sense. Like, there was still things that were just like, even though it was supposed to be dark and gloomy, even though the monster still had some form of cuteness to it. Where Sea of Thieves, they look gritty. Like, if you see like the pirates and even the mermaids and all of that kind of stuff, they look mean and nasty, and it gets a little insane on what they've actually put into the details. And they brought this game up to the maturity of adult gamers, and I think that's probably one of the biggest things that's going to make it sell great.
Yeah, and you know what? Not just that, but you're trying to reach a large audience, okay, in Sea of Thieves. And again, I got to reference Livewire's video. He said the one thing he made a good point is he goes, a lot of people are saying, oh, it's got a cartoony look to it and this and that. He goes, you know what had a cartoony look to it and has made billions? Minecraft. And, you got to look at it. That's what I said, when we were talking about the Crytek engine. Microsoft likes to touch things that actually go across multiple people. Hits a lot of different, avenues. They don't want to just, look, whether Sea of Thieves makes it big or not, this thing costs Microsoft a fucking fortune. Because not only, okay, are they employing and hiring like crazy at Rare right now. You see Rare all the time on Twitter, like, we're hiring. Yeah. So they're really bringing people in. Rare's not even in the United States. Yeah. So, like, you know what I mean? They're like, they're employing and paying rent and the lights and everything over there. You know what I mean? Like, that's expensive as shit. So this has really got to pan out for them.
Well, you know what? Like, Microsoft probably sees, and Rare sees, how some of these games, like The Division and Destiny, they had successful launches, but then not having that content ready to go regularly really hurt. So remember how they were like pushing Rare as a game that was possibly coming out this year, or at least like beta this year and then early next year. I think they're really getting all the ducks in a row to get the content out, because this game is going to be big for streamers. It's going to be big for YouTubers. It's going to be big for gamers. I think that's the whole thing. And I think that this game, having a really good multiplayer focus, along with the single player aspect too, is what's going to be the difference maker as far as sales go. Because if you look at Quantum Break, just a single player. If you look at Recore, just a single player. Although I'm on record, I do think Recore will get a sequel, and I think they'll get a little bit more time and money.
Because Recore didn't cost a lot of money to make. So
not just that, but you have with the fact that they made the announcement that Recore is going to get HDR support. If Microsoft's going to kill something, they're not going to put more money into making the one that's out look better.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to all you 400 watching, man. Hit that like button. My watch to view ratio isn't good.
You know what's great? Crap. You know what's great? I don't know if you guys ever remember the band called Primus? You guys remember a band called Primus?
Yeah.
Well, one of the things about Primus, I don't whether you like them or not. I didn't think they were stupendous, but a buddy of mine in high school was a huge Primus fan. So he one time he was like, "Dude, we got tickets." We all went. And when like a venue kind of gets a little bit quiet, even at a rock concert, he stands up and he starts screaming, "Primus sucks! Primus sucks!" And I'm like, "Dude, sit down." I'm like, "People are gonna fucking stab us soon." He's like, "No, you don't understand." He's like, "That's their thing." You say Primus sucks, and it's like that, like just ramps everybody up. The thank you, Mooch and Crap is going to be like, if we're ever at an event ever, there's just going to be people yelling, "Thank Mooch and Crap!" right in the middle. It's just going through the chat, right in the chat. Like everyone's going crazy on different subjects. And then out of nowhere, Raul's like, "I just broke my fucking knee. Thanks, Mooch and Crap."
Thanks, Mooch and Crap.
Right in the middle of it. It's like, I'm like, that's fucking awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
So,
hey, I mean, but look, a lot of people were like, Microsoft really needs to buy Remedy. And I can remember being one of the only people that said, well, Remedy takes 5 to 6 years to make their games, and they haven't really had a hit in over a decade.
No, it's a good point, Crap.
Yeah, I don't know if that's really would be a good idea. Now look at them now; they're making some kind of weird free-to-play first-person shooter or something.
Remedy's not Remedy anymore.
Yeah, like they got some.
They were better to just stick with Rare, like what they did, because they can make there are variety of games that they can make. Like look at just the Rare replay that we got. Just looking at the variety of games that was all in that, hit like almost everybody's style of gaming. And the fact that they're bringing out Sea of Thieves is another one that is just, it's going to hit so many different people in different ways that it's going to end up probably bringing more gamers together, which like you said, YouTubers, streamers, all of them, this game is going to appeal to them. And it's going to appeal to the younger audience and the older audience because of how they did the graphics and brought all that likeness into the game, where we see like, for instance, Recore and obviously like Quantum Break and stuff like that. Those games, they have the colorful graphics, but they're more focused on looking more like an actual reality than an imagination. And I think Sea of Thieves captured that imagination over reality so much better, and I think that's why they're so strong.
Yeah, well, I've said this multiple times. Rare isn't like the super kiddie developer that people make them out to be.
Never have been.
Yeah, if you look at Conquer, man, that was on Nintendo, and they that like went all in. Not only that, but even Viva Pinata, there's like a sex mini game on that. Like the
Crap, Jonathan Gilson and you and She-Wolf for proving his point. And I want to say, he says Rare aren't what they were though. Remember that, She-Wolf. Here's the thing though, John. To be honest with you, that's great. I don't want the Rare from fucking 15 years ago. I want this new group of people.
Here's the other thing too, right? On that point, Rare hasn't been who they have been throughout any set of games. They've changed out the developers.
Well, that's the point I was trying to make. Like they've always went to variety and their range. They literally took each and every game and gave it as much possible range and imagination as they could. So no, they're not the same. And I agree with that person that said in the chat, but that's what makes them so great, is that they don't stay to the same thing over and over and over again.
Not only that, but here, I'll throw a little bit of my gaming knowledge at some of the people here, right? The Stamper brothers who created Rare, notorious slave drivers, basically, back in the 80s, right? So they were doing a bunch of shovelware stuff for the NES. And there, you can look it up. All the games that they had, like they had so many games out on the NES. A lot of it was shovelware. What happened was they used to make the workers work like holidays. They give them half a Christmas off, like literally most of Rare walked out in the late 80s, and then they rehired some people, and then like that division of Rare made like Donkey Kong Country and stuff, really good stuff. Then Rare broke off into a couple different teams. The Rare A team was working on Banjo-Kazooie. The B team, which was a group of only 10 people, and only one of them had any gaming coding experience or had any game making experience. He was the head of that, and they made GoldenEye with that. So that was like a completely different people. When people were like, man, Rare, they did this. And it's like, and then there was another mass defections right between the early 2000s, right before 2000, where all those teams left. So even well before Microsoft bought them, there was multiple times where people walked out of Rare or left Rare. If you look at it,
it's not like they're a consistent developer where they've been the same people working there forever. It's always been different people in almost every single game that you've played.
And look, a bunch of Rare split off and made the game Time Splitters. Maybe you guys remember that. Also, another group split off and I think that was Free Radical. They were Free Radical. They were actually making the Battlefront game. Yeah. And then they got turned into Crytek. But I think they might be one of the Cryteks that closed down. But yeah, so Rare has like a long history. Craig Duncan's been there a long time. They still have people that were there for 15, 20 years or whatever. So it's not like they don't have any.
Ukulele also like Rare developers at one point.
That's former.
That's the people who, that's former
those
Rare.
are the ones who made the original Banjo-Kazooie game.
Yeah, so I mean, look, like Rare has a lot of very talented people.
Well, look, that's why when someone was like, "Well, half of them are gone," I got news for you. Like, don't get me wrong, that's fine. What's that thing called? The Banjo-Kazooie successor?
Ukulele.
Listen,
which looks good.
I wish them the best and all that. That'll never be on one of my consoles. I just don't want anything to do it. Like, it's just not my thing. You know what I mean?
You got kids? I bet you it'll be on one of your consoles.
Maybe in like 6 years. But like, my point is like, when it's like $2. But the problem is that like I just don't. I think that part of Rare being gone is a good thing. This new blood is probably the reason we have something like a Sea of Thieves. Because I don't know. I don't necessarily. I don't like. I'm a little against the grain here. I came into it late with that. I don't like Viva Pinata. I don't like a lot of Rare. Like the last Rare game I really, really liked was the two that I can tell you is I played the shit out of GoldenEye and I played the shit out of Battletoads.
But what's funny though? Even though people don't always like their games, they always still remember them. They are all really memorable games, regardless of whether you liked them or hated them. That's what gives Rare such that in-depth about how great they are is the fact no matter what, you remember that game.
I would actually throw out that out of all the Rare games, I think that a lot of the ones that people will remember anyways, because they have a big list of games, and a lot of those early ones, just as Crapgamer said, were just shovelware. Out of all the big ones, though, I think the Rare game that gets the most hype that doesn't deserve it is actually GoldenEye.
Yes. GoldenEye.
That game doesn't hold up at all.
Right. Well, a lot of these games don't. Listen, do me a favor. This upcoming Friday after Crossfire, just play Viva Pinata for 6 hours.
Hey, I like Viva Pinata.
Yeah, I'd like it too if I was a fifth of vodka in. Listen, there's nothing to do. I don't want to sit there and fucking the worms come up and you make some grass. Get out of here.
Like Mooch, listen. I spent this morning playing the 2 episodes of the new Walking Dead season 3. Hooked.
How is it?
Beyond amazing. Like the story, the characters are so much better.
I'm going to give you credit, Crap. I really want to do the Telltale Walking Dead, and I really want to do the Telltale Tale of the Borderlands.
Tales of the Borderlands is great.
You said they're so good. I got to give you credit. I'm going to try those 2 out. I was looking to see if we were going to see those, like the full pack.
There is you can get the Walking Dead bundle for $18 right now. It's
it's $18
it's like Walking Dead season 1 and 2, the Michonne one, and another one.
Damn, $18.
$18.
I have to get that. I love Michonne.
Yep.
But can't you get the Tales of the Borderland? Can't you get the first episode free? So if you wanted to, Mooch, you can actually try it.
That's a good point.
I think it's actually only $5 for that right now too. I think I read somewhere.
The whole Michonne, which is 3 episodes and 1,000 gamer score just by playing through it, and you'll beat it in like 3.5, 4 hours.
Right.
Yeah, it's like the whole thing is $5 right now. But I gotta say, the season 3 of The Walking Dead, the characters are much better, the story is much better, it flows much better. You like these you really like can appreciate these characters a lot more. And even though like the gameplay is like typical of what these games are,
Right.
like for me, like there's a reason why these guys are the ones doing so many games. You know, that Batman one was fire. Like I beat that and it was phenomenal.
That Batman game was awesome. That was probably one of the best games I've played all year.
Yeah, that was a fresh new take on Batman. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
I've never seen that before, and I'm a big Batman fan, so I've watched like the Red and everything else, like a million things, and that was a pretty good take.
Tales of the Borderlands, I beat that on Xbox One, Xbox 360, and PS4. Because I picked it up on PS4, the complete thing, for like $5 or $3 or something one time. So, but that's how much I like that game. It's so funny. It's like way better than Borderlands. Like Borderlands, I don't even like really.
That's because Borderlands didn't have any character development.
Yeah, but these characters are phenomenal. And Tales from the Borderlands
with the Walking Dead season 3, do you have all 5 episodes?
Only the first 2 are out. Only the first 2 episodes are out.
But when you purchased it, you're going to get when they come out, you'll get them.
Yeah, like if you buy the season pass, which you might as well because it's the same amount. But yeah, so that way you just get them and then you can just go in there and download them or whatever. But yeah, if I had to recommend it, like I would say this is one of the best stories you'll get to play in. And just fun. Like for me right now, you know, considering I'm a guy that people say doesn't really game, like I've been gaming an awful lot, man. Like I've been on stuff.
I've been playing non-stop Forza since this.
Yeah, like Forza. I don't know if you guys have got a chance to play that.
So let me ask you guys. I haven't played it yet. I downloaded it. But let me ask you guys Forza questions. Okay, so the regular Forza 3, not Blizzard Mountain, because I know that's a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Just answer the question as it says. So, Crap, when you play it, are you playing the races on what is it? Easy, medium, hard, or fucking hard, or whatever it is?
Oh, I just do it on the basic stuff for the most
So what is
part.
that? Is that like medium then?
I think I go a little bit easy.
All right, GKB, what do you do in the races at?
I usually play it on normal or a little bit harder. That's usually what I do.
Okay, and how about you, Hellhammer?
Oh, I'm actually usually play it on custom. So I play with the driver tar difficulty usually on just the average or above average. And then
I tell you what
do you mean custom? Because I want to ask you what's custom?
There's sliders. You can
okay.
Yeah, you can adjust what you do. So it's not just like the driver tar difficulty. It's just also like if you have like assistance with braking and steering, which I have,
you can turn off the line. Yeah, you can turn off the line that helps you.
Yeah, I turn off the driving line for everything.
I lowered everything for Blizzard Mountain because I was getting my ass kicked on that when I started that up. Like it's tougher, and you have to win those to advance. You have to win. Like in the regular standard Forza Horizon 3, you can come in the top 3 and still you're fine. And the Blizzard Mountain, you have to win, and you also actually have to like usually complete some third thing, like 20 e-drifts. You know what I mean? Like it's like some of
that game got me that expansion got me really good at the drifting.
Let me ask you, Shuaf, what do you play it on?
What am I playing?
What do you play when you play Forza 3 or Forza Horizon 3? What level of difficulty do you do the races?
Whatever is on. I don't change anything, so
okay,
I'm
that's fine.
Normal. Well, I literally just start it up and just start racing. So
okay, and that's where I was doing hard for a while, and like I'm not gonna lie to you, like whether the game allows you to go or not, like if I don't finish in the top 3, like I keep doing the same fucking race. See, you guys remember Trials, the game where you're the motorcycle?
Yeah.
The reason that Forza is a love-hate for me is I will never leave a race when I'm on like 10th out of 12, right? I have to be 1, 2, or 3. And I was doing hard for so long, and I'm doing the same. My wife came down, she's like, "You're still doing that race?" I'm like, "I came in 4th." And I'm like playing the same race like so many times because I want to get 1, 2, or 3. Don't get me wrong, you do learn the track. But my point being is like that's why I don't ever get very far in Forza because like so then I was like, you know what? F it. I'm going to normal or whatever, like She-Wolf said. Whatever the game puts you at when you pull up, I'm just gonna play it as is. And I noticed that then I'm getting 1, 2, or 3 pretty easy. I just find like normal in Forza to be easy, and I find hard to be ridiculous. And it's like for me that sucks, and that's why for me it's a deterrent because
I had the same problem until
you know what I mean.
Yeah, see, I had the same problem, and that's why I played on the custom settings with like all of the
Does that affect gamer score or winning?
No.
Or anything?
No.
Yeah, so
Well,
basically,
you know what's funny? Yeah, like I used to play on like the normal, and then there would always be one that just took off like a bat out of hell,
Yeah.
and you could never catch them. And I was
yeah,
like, what the
if
hell?
you play it, like, yeah, because I used to play on hard too for the driver tar difficulty, right? And then like I'm like sitting there like driving my ass off. I'm like going around all the corners, and then the car that's just like literally, it's like might as well be on tracks. It's like hitting all the corners right. It's
How many of you are actually like going in and like changing the fucking axle on the car?
I go do that.
Hellhammer does. I
You
mess
do,
around a little
GKB?
bit, but
Say that again.
Do you like mess with the axle, the tires, the fucking lug nuts?
I do that on Forza 6 and stuff like that, not on Forza Horizon.
I don't know.
I do it
Listen,
on Horizon.
I'm a car guy in the fact that, like, yes, I like driving a BMW, right? I like that, right? I get that. But, like, I'm not a car guy like, hey, guys, yeah, honey, no, get the grill started. I'll be right back. I'm just going to fucking change the spark plug. Change the spark plug real quick and change a couple tires.
So you're not no Vin Diesel from Fast and Furious?
No. I'm fucking Paul Walker driving it. Listen, I myself personally, I mean, if I have somebody like pump my gas, I would.
Look, when you upgrade Mooch, you can do custom upgrade, or you can do it where they do it for you and just give you the best stuff.
And that's what I do. The reason I'm asking is not because I don't know how to play the game. I'm wondering, am I missing something that you guys are experiencing that I should? Because with Forza, I kind of play Forza like, you know what? So let's say it's community game night, right? And I'm like, oh, I thought we were starting at 9:30, and She-Wolf's like, well, we're gonna start, but like, they're still doing the shop podcast, and it's like, okay, cool. So I'm like, oh, I'm a little early. I'll kick on Forza and do a race or two. You know what I mean? Like, I don't ever usually say, all right, got my fucking drink ready, got a little snack here, time to dig into like 6 hours of Forza. But you guys do that. I see you guys playing for like hours on end.
Yeah,
I'll play Forza for 45 minutes, and I'm gonna kill myself.
I think it's just really up to like your personal preference, really, right? Like me, I'll go around. Even on Forza Horizon, I'll sit there and I'll tune my car. I like to see how fast I can make it.
Right.
I like this. I like to take the little shit cars and make them really fast.
I play Forza the same way I play Trials. Like, I just try to get I try to get first, second, or third. Usually first. Like, I hate not even getting first. So I'll just keep playing the same like course for like a while till I get first. Then I'm like, when I'm done, I'm like, shit, I'm tired. I've been playing this fucking thing for 40 minutes. I don't just bust through it, and maybe I'm doing it wrong. I
mean, I'll even sit there and tune like the gear ratios and stuff on it.
I do that in the motorsport more than I do in
which makes sense, crap. Yeah. But the Don, he says, yes, you are missing something, Mooch. But what am I missing, Don? Like, am I missing, like, I don't want to fucking be like, what'd you do last night, Mooch? Oh, you know what I did? I put on fucking 16. I had 15 tires on. I upgraded to 17s, and I put W's. They're a little stickier. It's like, what? Who gives a shit?
Well, you know what? If you play, like, first of all, I think that the Blizzard Mountain is looks even better than the base game. Like, it looks amazing.
Yeah, I definitely want to check that out.
Yeah, you have to put like the snow tire. Well, it does it for most of the cars. Like the snow tires, and even though there's an achievement for winning a race without them, but you slide all over.
Oh man, that was difficult.
Yeah, it's funny. So it's like, it's like the weather affects you on that, which is fantastic, right? Like the snow really affects how you drive. Like they could have just did it cheaply and put snow and made it look pretty, but no, the weather definitely affects it. Yeah. If you don't have snow tires,
and even the environment.
So they didn't just put a skin; they actually put the weather.
No,
it's not just
mechanics in it.
You can't see shit. You'll be driving and it's clear, and next thing you know, you're in a goddamn blizzard, and you're like, I can't see anything.
See, that was my biggest question, because like I was talking about this earlier. When you're driving through, like, say, the ocean and stuff like that, like, the water actually splashes up on your camera where you can't actually really see what's going on around you because you're driving through. And that gaming mechanic that they added was just gorgeous and amazing. So I was actually curious before this came out if it actually had the snow mechanics to actually show, like, the snow actually moving and not just a cheap skin that they just throw over.
It's really, really good. Like the snow mechanics and everything, and like that's the other thing too, is that Crapgamer is absolutely right on that. Like especially on Forza Horizon 3, especially since there's so many. Like they give you pretty much every possible variant of where you can race. You can race on the beach, you can race out the outback, whatever. Having the ability to swap out, say like your springs for something that's like rally sports, so you're high off the ground when you're doing like a race out in the outback or in the mud or whatever, just makes it all that much more detailed.
I was seeing tweets like, and tell me if you guys experienced this too. Like when the Blizzard came and everything, people were really good at Forza, but they had to like turn on the driving line to like
I had to
see
turn
where
it on too.
I had to turn all the assists and stuff on to do the Blizzard Mountain.
I just had to turn on the driving line, but sometimes because if it's got so dark, like there's one of the bucket list challenges on there. It was super easy, but I just couldn't see where I was going, and I kept
was it that
hitting the
one
wall
where you had to
every
hit
single
170 miles an hour?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like this is an easy one, and it took me like 8 tries. I was like,
it took me
I
like
can't
8
see.
tries because I kept hitting the wall and I couldn't see
Yeah,
what I was doing.
I was like, and then finally I hit exactly 170. Then I was
Yeah,
like,
I hit it at 170.1.
Yeah, that shit was ridiculous. But I highly recommend that. It's like Microsoft really killed it the second part of the year, and I'm really excited for Halo Wars 2. I know that seems lame, but most people that are like, Microsoft lacks variety or whatever, I'm like, well, we're getting a console RTS early next year, and it's got this rush mode or whatever that looks fantastic. Like, I'm really excited to play this. And you know what I mean? I'm really excited about the direction that they have things going right now. Even State of Decay 2, they said, okay, well, we're going to get gameplay and a release date at E3. Great. I'm excited for that game, too, because it's co-op, guys. Like, we can play it. Yeah. Like that, to me, that's exciting. I think that's more of Microsoft's wheelhouse. Like, it's going to have a story, but it's co-op where you can play it with your friends, because that's what that first game is. And look, when Phil says, we need sales, we need room to growth and stuff like that, I think that game, State of Decay, fits in there because that game hit 1 million sales.
Who doesn't want to run around with their friends and watch them get trampled over by zombies? Everybody's running and you're like, don't run over there, and then they run over there, and then you're watching them die, and it's like, do you save them or do you run?
I'm pulling a Shane. I'm shooting one of my friends so I can get away.
She wolf's right, and that's why the phenomenon of Dying Light was such a massive hit. Like, I played the shit out of that, and we played with 3 friends every night, and it was great. State of Decay 2 it has the makings to be absolutely fantastic.
Well, if you look at the first one sold over 1 million within the first weekend.
Really
so that's why
it was great. It was a great game, but
it had a lot of glitches.
I just felt like I was by my. I don't know. It just doesn't feel the same when you're in this big open map with zombies.
Yeah, it was that was my problem with it too. It was just the big map, and it always felt like there should have been somebody there that had my back. And then there wasn't.
Well, there would be people there with you, but when when they were doing something, you'd be like, you'd want to yell at them. Well, yeah, you'd want to yell at them and be like, "Hey, don't go over there. We got to go this way." But obviously, they can't hear you because they're just AIs in the game, and it's like, God damn it! It's like you're gonna go die. Can you please follow me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, me and Crapgamer, we had a lot of fun with the Dead Island games.
Yeah. Well, we played the first one. I bought the Riptide one for us to play. We never got actually around to playing that one. I might pick up.
I think that was shortly before the Xbox One came out too.
Yeah, so I might. They have those both for $20 right now. Like, you can get both of them.
Yeah, they're $20. I saw that today, and I'll be honest, I played the shit out of Riptide, and I don't know. I've said this on multiple podcasts, and you guys know from The Walking Dead. Like, if you put if it's a quality zombie game, I'm pretty much in. I mean, I'm playing the shit out of Dead Rising 4.
Dead Rising 4 is amazing.
That's the best Dead Rising game I've played. I will say.
Bummed out that the Christmas DLC is like, you need the season pass for it or whatever. Yeah. Like, that shit looked funny to me, but it's like, I don't know. But yeah, I love that game. I think it's phenomenal. But that sale that they have going on, I think I'm going to pick up the BioShock collection because it's only $38 digitally.
Maybe I'll actually play the BioShock games once since I didn't play them last time.
The BioShock collection is it's worth every penny. It's beautiful.
So I was thinking about picking that up, and maybe the Dead Island collection. Mooch, you should pick that up. That way you can play with us.
I'll do that.
I would be down to play Dead Island again with some people because
I'd have a hard time arguing with you there. I mean,
Well, I mean, $20 come
for
on.
both is a pretty good deal.
What would you guys do though, Riptide or Dead Island?
Well, I've never played Riptide. We played through Dead Island, but
I would do Riptide. I've done Dead Island like twice, so I would prefer to do Riptide, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind doing both. I remember getting a shit ton of gamer score off.
Yeah, I would do both. I'll play it whatever order because it doesn't really matter because I already did the story for the first one.
I like how we're saying that, yet we both or all of us don't have 800 games to catch up on.
Yeah, I know, right?
There's so many fucking games. Like here's my Mooch pack that I made with myself. I said I was going to finish Dead Rising 4 before Christmas, which is going to be close. And then I was like, then I was going to, right after Christmas, so January, you know, before Halo Wars 2 comes out, I was going to play Final Fantasy 15, right? There's just so much of that game to play.
You like riding your Chocobo?
I haven't touched it since the opening week.
I haven't even played it yet. Still, it's still sitting in my backlog.
No, I've played like whatever the first like 2 hours.
I didn't even play it at all. I haven't even loaded it.
No, the game is fun, dude. I definitely want to play it.
I just haven't had a chance to.
But then on top of that, there's like, what else is there? Oh, I picked up Mortal Kombat XL for $20. Haven't. I'm gonna sound like Hellhammer. Haven't even turned it on.
Yeah,
I mean, that's crazy, right? And now, you know, I don't want to jump subjects, but the huge sale starts tomorrow, right? So
actually,
since everybody
tonight.
Yeah, I saw that. So, but everybody on this panel pretty much has, and crap, you said this on Twitter today. You're like, I pretty much have every AAA game that came out. I have every AAA game that I've wanted pretty much. I mean, yes, there's games like Riptide and stuff that you're going to be able to talk me into. But like, you know what I'm looking forward to? Here's something, Chivo, if you hear, you might collapse when I say this. I'm looking for some of the indies that I thought were okay. Right. Hold on. Hold on.
Here we go.
No, Hyperlight Drifter. I already have that one.
All right. Yeah. Good Mooch.
No, I was thinking like Shovel Knight. I was looking to maybe see if that would go down to under $10.
Slane's good.
Which one?
Slane. That's pretty good.
That was one that I think didn't Brutal do it. Thing on that. Yeah, that was looking pretty good. There's just a couple of the games that were like the old 16-bit games that are like brought back to life.
The game I'm waiting for is I'm hoping that they give a little bit of a discount on Watch Dogs 2, just because.
Oh, come on, Hellhammer.
Watch Dogs 2 is one of the ones on sale.
It is on sale. It's like it's $38 still, which is like you buy it and you get a fucking free middle finger. Get the fuck out of here. That
Hellhammer liked.
I like the first one.
You didn't. No, I mean, you know, she was gonna go. You can't tell someone what they didn't like, but I'm gonna tell you, you didn't like it. You know,
this game, I'd have to agree. Nobody likes the first.
Nobody
liked it.
No, you just like.
I had fun with
it. There was nothing else out when that was when this generation.
I had a lot of games to play at that time. Actually,
what?
From just I went a big backlog on 360.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, we all had coloring books and shit too. But listen, no. What I'm saying is this generation came out, Hellhammer, and when that game came out, it was perfectly placed where we had just remasters that we just got done playing, or we could play that. And when that game came out, people were like, this is good. This is good.
No, I would say I would argue against that because I actually didn't play that game at launch. So
he played it later. But
Mad Max says get Strider. I think that's a great point. Strider was an awesome game. I didn't pick up. Strider was cool.
I have Strider.
Strider's pretty decent.
That game got tough though. Like later on, like wow.
That's because you suck at platformers.
Shut up! I'm a beast. I'm a beast at platformers. I do want to talk about this other thing though. BioWare. They interviewed this guy. They say Mass Effect Andromeda. Jamie Moran will be listening to this. They say that it's definitely getting PS4 Pro support. But he absolutely said no support right now.
Did he say, yeah, but crap, I watched your video. Did he say no support, or in your video he said, at this time we don't have any plans for Scorpio?
He said no support planned, but that could change.
Right, because and here's the thing. So when I first read,
they don't even have a dev kit yet.
You gotta you gotta love Crap's clickbait. But I saw that
clickbait. Come on,
I saw that title and I was like,
spoilers. Now nobody's gonna go watch it. Now that
I saw that title and I was like, I gotta watch this video, right? Clickbait, and I'm like, because I'm like, there's no way Mass Effect, which has such a great relationship with Microsoft, is gonna be like fuck Scorpio. But anyways, but your video was very good, Crap, because I first of all I watched all of it, and second of all, it was the point of what he said, and Hellhammer just said it. Nobody knows what the fuck Scorpio is yet. How's he gonna be like? Yeah, of course we've got everything planned for Scorpio. We don't even have the box yet.
I think they got the box and all that kind of stuff. I just think they're just not allowed to say.
No, I don't think that there's even a dev kit out right now. To be honest,
yes, there is.
Yeah, there's dev kits.
I don't think so.
Yeah, people say they have kits already. So
yeah, I mean, I find that hard to believe.
It's not the final thing, Hellhammer, but I think
the thing is like, how are they going to have a dev kit for it?
But how are they going to have a dev kit that's even close to what they had, what's supposed to be the specs in it? That's the thing.
Right.
Especially
they could have went and got. I'm going to tell you, Crap. They could have went and bought shit off the shelf just to kind of emulate it.
But they already said that this thing's going to have that the hardware and tech in this thing doesn't exist yet. So. I mean, look, I
I
guess
know where
you
you're
can have a
coming
dev
from.
kit that's you can have a dev kit that's kind of close to what it is, but it's not enough to where people are going to be able to
Well,
fully
that's like
optimize.
there's this damn commercial. There's this video trailer for this Nintendo Switch game, but the developers like, but we don't even have Switch dev kit. It's, you know what I mean? We're just running on specs that's supposedly close to that.
That's not saying if anybody who has a dev kit for the Scorpio, they have something that's similar to a Scorpio.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're just running something with, as long as you got six point something T-flops of ultimate power and 320 gigs of threaded memory.
Let's just say they have like a computer or whatever that's just the base specs of Scorpio. That's still fine. They could still build the thing. The only thing they can't really do is just optimize for the final product.
I agree. I mean, it's just but I mean that's the whole point though, right? Like if you're building something, say like
I think Phil
like
said
say
we
Mass
have,
Effect.
we have
like
these.
say-
Remember he said we have these boxes in developers'
sending them out,
hands.
like,
yeah.
Yeah,
Said
I mean,
that.
but look, say that BioWare even has the box or whatever the case may be, the dev kit. If they don't have a way to fully optimize it, because look, hitting 4K or ultra settings and that kind of stuff, even on the 6 teraflops, is going to be tough unless without the optimizations. So
I'd be hard pressed to say that developers don't have them at this point. I mean, it's the end of December almost, and it's less than a year away that they're going to be launching this thing. I think probably they already got them.
yeah, but I don't think they have the final.
Here's the other thing, Hellhammer. We all know that Microsoft.
I have a question. I have a question for Hellhammer. You say that there's stuff that isn't even created yet. How can the Scorpio have parts that aren't even created yet when it's supposed to be releasing in fall 2017?
Because they're coming out.
Shouldn't it technically already be mostly
those parts, like
already?
the Ryzen CPU counterparts, the Vega, the newer Polaris stuff doesn't come out till like April.
Well, no, that's what we know. That's what we know is coming.
Well, yeah, for
but
consumers,
these companies, chances are already own those pieces because they would have had to give them well in advance because they have to build the whole system around these parts. They can't just give them to them a couple months before release. It wouldn't work.
I mean, look, they're probably going to get the parts early. I mean, look, because for instance, what is it? It's Polaris and the PlayStation 4 Pro, and technically Polaris didn't release till, fairly shortly before the PlayStation 4 Pros, and I'm sure that they probably had that in there far before it released to consumers, but it's still not going to be that big of there's never going to be that big of a difference between, like a year difference between the consumer model and the engineering samples or the whatever the case may be. I mean, there's engineering samples of Ryzen and all this other stuff floating around out there right now, but it doesn't mean that anybody has access to the dev these things yet. I'm just saying that I don't think that if anybody has a dev kit, it's something that's similar in spec, and it's not something that's even close to being final.
That's fair.
And I think that might be what holds it back, because if you don't have a, exact of what everything's going to be, you can't really optimize it. So let's say, 6 teraflops can vary depending on what you have, right? Like, 6 teraflops on a regular GPU on like an NVIDIA system, right? Like 6 teraflops from a generation ago only has 1,000 CUDA cores. I mean, I'm using that as an example. Versus now there's 1,600 streams or whatever. I'm just saying. I mean, that's just the difference of what you're looking at. The architecture changes, and that's how the architecture is what you optimize to, not to the power.
Yeah, I mean, CUDA cores. I know exactly what you're talking about, dude. That's like, yeah. I'm like in there, dude. I'm like in your mind right now, bro. Like, I know exactly what you're talking about. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I would assume that these people have some kind of idea, because Phil said that people are working on games already.
All right, yeah. I mean, I agree, and I don't think that the optimization portion of that will happen probably around April, May or so when the chips go into full production.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Like I would hope that, like, my biggest fear for Scorpio is that developers don't take advantage of it, and they just for a weird reason too, because a lot of them, they don't want to see Sony fail or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, look, a good point to this would be, I was watching them talk about the games with gold on IGN, and it was that Damon Hatfield guy, and he said something, well, let's hope that they kick off January with something good, because so far 2016 has been like the equivalent of Superman 64. Like, I mean, seriously, that's what this ass bucket said.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Come on, like,
So wait,
and
so
he's talking about
he was bashing games with gold.
yeah. He says, let's hope that the beginning of the year brings new, better games than last year, because last year's was the equivalent of Superman 64.
Really good games.
Listen, these guys, look, they're just so far up. So even Sony fans have been pissed at the PS Plus games. They've been the worst batch of games we've been given ever. And
oh, I agree. I think the Xbox Live games, especially
God,
like the
hands
past few
down.
months, have been so much better.
Hands down.
You know, yeah, so damn much better. Like, it's not even funny. With how much
I
better
got news
those
for you,
games
man.
have
You have
been.
no idea. Coming from somebody years ago that went to IGN religiously, I go to IGN never. Almost never.
I can say I hardly ever went to IGN even years ago because I always thought they were a bunch of asshats.
Well, I mean, yeah, but they were the only ass hat in town, though. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, kinda. I mean, there were other review sites and whatever at that
I
point.
guess. But I mean, my point is that like now I just don't even like IGN's almost like an 18th source for me. Like I don't. Yeah. Shout out to D Batch and he goes, "What's IGN?" That's great. Like I mean, he's right. Like I agree. IGN now when somebody says, "Hey, did you see this and this?" and I'm like, "Well, send me the link," and they're like, "Oh, you didn't check IGN?" I'm like, "Nope, I don't even go there." So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, what's cool about the January's games for gold is you get let's see, Van
folks.
Helsing, Death Trap, which is a tower.
I don't
defense
mind
game.
that.
Yeah,
I actually
that
think
looks
that's
cool.
the one I'm looking forward
Yeah,
to.
that one
believe it or
actually
not.
looks-
Killer Instinct Season 2 Ultra Edition, which includes like the arcade for the original.
That just
Killer
pisses me
Instinct.
off
That's
because
a
I paid all that money.
$40 deal, people.
That
That's
is a $40. That's
deal.
the $40 version. So I think that's fantastic,
Yeah.
and that's coming off the top of. They probably want to draw people in because Season 3 is getting a new update with like new characters and stuff like that, new skins and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's fan. Plus, they reworked the Indian character.
Oh yeah,
And,
you got like a new skin.
Yeah, he's like more, I guess, friendly.
Like fairy skin.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's-
overall, you know, I know you guys are fans of it, but overall, I try to when these games kind of come out, I kind of like I try to step back and look from the outside looking in. I think, and Jonathan said it in the chat. I think the January games for gold are okay. I don't think you can bash them, and I really don't think you
I
can
think
wait.
Killer Instinct Season 2 is a hell of a the $40 edition. Come on.
Look, the game's doing well. It's holding its own. I except for Bam, you, and Zaire, I don't know who else plays it. I really
never
don't.
played the hell out of that game. But I also want to say the 360 games are pretty good too. Rayman Legend or Rayman Origins.
Yes,
Yeah, that was a great game.
but they gave away the
They gave away
Xbox
Legends.
One version, right? Legends, yeah.
That's
Very
Legends.
fair
But
point.
Origins was really good too.
Okay.
It's a great
And also the
method.
cave.
Well,
which
I
the
do
cave-
want to throw out too, though, that on Origins and Legends actually has all the levels from Origins on it. But I mean, you can double up on that gamer score, and it's not really much of a difference. If you already don't, if you're just now looking into getting it, I mean, that's a hell of a platformer to start with.
Yeah, and also the cave, which is a game that I had thought about picking up a long time ago.
Yes.
And didn't, but yeah, so that's pretty cool, you know. And the fact that we get 4 games that we can play on our Xbox Ones is definitely pretty damn cool in my opinion.
great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. And we know like Sony will come out with like you know, something retarded or you know what I mean. Like it's not even going to be. It's not, you know, if they're going to come out with something stupid and get like 1 million dislikes again because they don't give a shit at this point because they've got so many suckers already paying. You know what I mean? Like, who cares at this point? Like, nobody's ever going to leave them.
Yeah, I still remember all the PlayStation fans who were like, "I'm never gonna pay for to play online."
Yeah, we saw how quick that changed, right? Well, we're never paying to play online because that's wrong. We already pay for internet.
I got news for you.
You know
They probably did stick to their guns because nobody is playing fucking PSN online.
Yeah, it's true.
Because I mean, if you don't believe me, you know, we want Titanfall 2. We want Titanfall 2. Nobody from Sony bought it. Nobody bought it. Like they're just full of shit over there, man. Every last one of them is full of shit.
Well, I mean, that's how Sony people have been for the whole time, right? Like
I know.
remember last
nothing's
generation,
changed.
every game was a day one buy, and then the game would come out and they'd be like 100,000 sold.
Bring Laura back. Bring Laura back. She's back, asshole.
Hey, she's home. Nobody showed
She's
up.
home and nobody bought her. What a homecoming that was.
Yeah, nobody showed up for the part. That's like, you know, Microsoft could do that if they get Destiny 2 marketing, like welcome
Yes.
home, Bungie. You know what I mean? And then I think you'll see a bit of a difference there. But there also another thing I wanted to talk about, which was making the rounds yesterday, which maybe you guys don't care about, maybe you do. apparently Tracer from Overwatch is gay.
Gay, yeah.
And people feel a certain kind of way about it. For me, I was like, I don't really particularly. I might pick this game up if it goes on sale over.
Dude, I know you've been wanting to pick that game up.
Maybe, but hold on.
You've been looking at that game because you see Snipes playing that game like 24/7.
I don't know about that, but yeah, but I was interested in it. But I did think it was kind of interesting that people were kind of flipping out over this. For one thing, there's no single player story, so it's like I guess in a comic or something.
Yeah, it's a backstory
So
comic.
like, how the hell does that make any difference?
Flipping out in a good or a bad way?
Bad. Some people were flipping out in like a completely bad way. Like I'm gonna go to Battleborn.
There's nothing bad about it. First of all, who cares? First of all, who cares?
People.
Exactly.
That's what I
said.
said.
Not even video game. It's fucking comic book.
It's a comic book.
So first of all, who cares? Second of all, at least they gave her an attractive girlfriend. So let's at least applaud that. Okay? Let's applaud that and move on. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't see the problem with it. I mean, we're in 2016. Get over it.
Yeah.
The fact that there's even an argument or even
some crap. Let me just warn you, okay? You've tapped me on the shoulder to tell you this before. Let me just tell you, the longer you stay on this subject, the more thanks Mooch and crap memes will be made. Let's just get the fuck out of this subject.
Hey, I understand that, but I just felt like I wanted to bring it up because it is a bit controversial, and we do somewhat controversial shows.
It's not really that controversial. It's just somebody who's sitting in the basement who doesn't understand what the fuck that is.
Truthfully, nowadays, like, actually, here's a perfect example. I don't know if any of you guys watch Supergirl or like Flash or any of them.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Even those ones, they have characters who are coming out and now they're like, it's the new day and age, people. Nobody cares. And again, Tracer is a character
in a video game. It's not real.
Right. It's not real, folks.
Like, I'm sorry. You know who's all butthurt about this? All those guys who were kind of sitting in their little corners, freaking jacking off to her ass.
Jesus.
And now they're all mad because she was like, I'm going to start to say it. Because
I told you this is not going to go good, crap.
Hey, you said it. She's a female.
Hey, you know what though? Hey, she's not wrong though. So
Yeah,
I mean, look, one of the main complaints that I saw was that fact. Like people were like, oh, now people like these nerdy guys or whatever who had that type of fantasy or whatever are going to be pissed off about it.
No,
like,
they're not going to be pissed off. Now they can have that fantasy times 2. It's 2 girls. Let's go. Let's move on.
Yeah, but see, they're not looking at it that way. They're looking at the fact that now, for some weird reason, they think it's almost like she's actually real and actually would want to touch them.
Well, that's the thing. Is like they're fighting for like her rights or something. Like it's a fucking video game, people. Like, what are you doing?
It's a comic. If you don't like it, go draw your own comic where she's with a guy. Like, seriously, people, get over it.
I'm sure there's probably somebody out there, Rule 52 or whatever it is. It's already somebody out there doing it.
They're doing it right now.
Oh, no freaking doubt. Hey, everybody, hit that like button. Yes, please. Come on, let's get to 300. Let's quick, 300. 300. Oh, did you guys see Epic Games co-founder? Man, he was going off on the PlayStation Store. I did a video about it, but I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on it. Yeah, he's right. He's like, it's broken. He's like, you guys don't want money. He's like, I can't add funds. I can't get games.
You want to know my biggest pet peeve of the PlayStation Store, and I don't know if it's been fixed because honestly, this is actually one of the reasons that pissed me off enough to sell my PlayStation 4 was the fact that in order to add money, I had to add a certain amount of funds, and then I'd buy something and I was constantly left with a few cents left over. The same thing that all these people complained about for Microsoft points back in the day.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I remember that. Everybody's like, why do I gotta
I still have 75 cents of PlayStation. Still.
And you haven't had a PlayStation in forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that is true. Like, why did people bitch about Microsoft points? Because remember that, everybody remembers Microsoft points, right? What a pain in the ass that was. But he's right. Like, if you buy a game on the PlayStation Store, like say they do a sale for $2.99, you have to at least put $5 in there, right? So you're always left with like this uneven amount of number of money. And that is kind of weird. But what I thought was interesting was you have all these industry people who kiss Sony's ass. They love Sony. They don't want to see Sony fail. But now we start to see more and more where these people are starting to call Sony out a little bit. And what I see by that, with that happening, is that the tide is turning a little bit. Like that gives Microsoft a little bit more of a chance. If they keep their shit quick and their eye on the prize, you know what I mean? Their store working good, which their store pretty much does.
Always works good.
Yeah, it pretty much does.
What I will say though is Microsoft fix your shit so that way you could buy Xbox Live time or renew Xbox Live with credit that you have on your account, because I have all this Xbox Live credit and I can't renew my damn Xbox Live with it.
You know what? I should bring up real quick. Tryhard fan in the chat, who's actually, he's a Sony guy, but he actually, I respect him. He's been very fair in what he says. He says here, we all shouldn't want to see Sony fail. I don't think a lot of people understand. I'll speak for myself. I think I speak for the panel, but I'm speaking for myself right now. I definitely do not want to see Sony fail. The one thing that you'll notice on this show, though, Tryhard, is that I can't stand Sony putting out half of the product that Microsoft does, and a lot of the fans that you hang out with,
getting an applaud for it.
They get all the appraisal, all the credit for it. All we're showing you is we're exposing Sony for the bullshit that they put out, and all you have is the nostalgic fan base that just keeps applauding. Yeah, people were fainting in the stands for The Last Guardian, and that's just a piece of trash.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't want Sony to fail. I mean,
I don't want them to fail.
Having a competition in the industry is great, right? Like Nintendo and Sony being out there is great. That just makes the games all the better.
Right.
But at the same time, though, you can't sit there and nitpick on one console like the issues that Xbox or Microsoft may have, and then just gloss over the same exact issues that are on your home console, whatever you prefer.
Right.
Yeah, we've said multiple times that we don't want either of them to fail. We want them to both do well because it helps out the gamers at the end. But what's wrong with being critical about the platform you love? If they're doing something wrong, call them the fuck out for it. How else are they going to notify?
Yeah, I mean, we're doing calling out. I dislike Quantum Break. I didn't like that game.
Nobody on Twitter that's a Sony fan says anything about PS Plus games that are terrible. We all know they're terrible. Everybody knows they're terrible. But and maybe you go, well, no, Mooch, some PS fans do, but you don't tell Sony. They tweet it out, and they usually tweet us. They're like, PS Plus games suck this month. Thanks, Mooch and crap. What the fuck did I do? I'm like, I don't understand. Why? That's my point. My point is that when we get pissed, we write to Phil, we write to Aaron, we write to Mike Ibarra. We talk to them. We do these things. We do these podcasts that we know people do watch. These guys do things, and they just make fun of us talking about Sony. We're just saying Sony should not get credit when credit's not due. It's just like anybody at work. If you did everything, but then the guy sitting next to you brought your boss a salad and he gets all the thank yous, you're like, I did everything. He just brought you a salad? You know what I mean? It's like, why is Sony getting everybody's thank yous? That's the problem. It's
to be fair, anybody that's a PlayStation fan in the chat, let us know if you've reached out to Yoshida or any of those guys. Have they written back to you on Twitter? Have they said anything like the Xbox guys do? Because maybe we don't know that. Okay, so let us know. Let's hear.
Point.
Yeah, but as far as I know, Microsoft is really good about doing that. Yeah, I've never seen.
Well, Jonathan, who's also a Sony, you can tell he's, by the way, right, he's a Sony fan in the chat. He goes, lots of criticism on NeoGAF about the Plus games.
Yeah, but John saying anything?
But John, that criticism on GAF is 75 layers deep under the thanks Mooch and crap folder.
But you know what's kind of funny though is people are like, well, it's their company, we can't complain. You are the consumer. You have the right to complain if you are not satisfied with the product that you bought.
Yeah, it's your money that's going into the products. I mean, look, here's at the end of the day, if you're not making a fuss over something not being right, or at least putting their opinion out there, and you've paid money to it, then you have no reason to complain at all. Then at that point,
right?
Hey, that is a good point. I do. Wow, I just seen this kind of cool thing coming from the Cuphead developers. Apparently, they have this PDF file that you can download and make your own Cuphead out of paper.
What?
I'm gonna be doing that soon.
I just sent you the link, because I figured that you would like that.
I would. Yeah. Oh my god, I'm gonna make this.
I know, it looks cool. Actually, I think it looks. I wish I had a printer. I would make that. It looks pretty damn interesting.
Yeah, but printers are so outdated.
Oh my god, you get Mugman too.
Yeah, Mugman too. So I think that's pretty awesome. I'm excited about Cuphead. I know a lot of people
are excited about it.
Oh, me too.
I'm glad that they took the time to make it more than just a boss rush game. But yeah, that is one of my games. Even though it's an indie, whatever.
Below, though.
What's that?
I'm pissed off about Below though. That fucking pissed me off.
Oh yeah.
Why? What happened?
It got canceled. Didn't
it? I guess it got canceled. They're just not developing it right now.
They said that it was delayed indefinitely. That
Damn,
sounds like it's
doesn't
canceled
sound
to
good.
me.
Yeah, that sounds pretty bad. To be honest with you. anytime something's indefinitely, yeah, that's not a good thing. So, and that was actually a Zelda, like a Zelda-esque type of game. Like that was one that I was looking forward to as well. This is the problem with announcing games so far in advance, and even Phil was talking about that because I know like a lot of quote unquote.
I don't
Xbox,
want them to announce games so far in advance because it's just bad.
Well, you hear a lot of people crying about that lately, right? They're like, we need to know what they're doing in like 2020, and I'm like, I don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
because
so
Phil,
you get excited for a game that might get scrapped.
Well, Phil even said on Twitter yesterday, he goes, you know what? Most of the games that are in development don't see the light of day. Most of them. So what we see is just a very small amount of that. So why announce something if we're not going to get it? Then that's just going to breed disappointment, right? Like, look, the Fable Legends stuff, that was disappointing. If they wouldn't announce that, then we would have been better off. I don't think they should have announced Crackdown 3 or Scalebound when they did, particularly because now we're all like, well, where's Scalebound? Where's Scalebound? Where's Crackdown? Where, you know what I mean? Like, it's way too soon.
Whatever they're not on screen, we should be asking, where is Poochie?
Yeah, where's Poochie? Like, where are these things? You know what I mean? Like, what is up with that? You know, like, I don't like that. I know, like, Sony wanted to get their fans hype. Good for them. But at the end of the day, I don't want to know, you know, I don't want them talking up games that are fucking 10 years away. That does us no good.
And here's the thing, right? Like, and it's not even just that. Even if the developers and stuff have all good intentions, right, and they're fully backed and everything like that, shit happens and development times stop. I mean, look, Duke Nukem at some point used to be like one of the biggest games in the world, and then all of a sudden it went through development hell and then died.
Yeah, sort of like, well, the media wouldn't let that damn Last Guardian die, but it should have. Because, look, you watched that Watch Mojo thing, right, Hellhammer? Where they're trying to get that Trico thing to listen.
Oh, I laughed for like 30 minutes after that.
Yeah, like it's like trying to get Trico to listen to help it like beat the puzzles or stuff, and it just lets the guy fall off the thing. It was hilarious. Like that, like 4 of the top 10 most disappointing games of 2016, according to Watch Mojo, were PS4 games. You know, so I mean that tells you all you need to know. And look,
they should be paying you for that because now you're basically sending all these PlayStation fans to go watch that and just give them money.
Who cares? I mean, at the end of the day, and then they did. That was the most disappointing, and of course, No Man's Sky was the #1 most disappointing game. But then they did worst games of 2016 and another PlayStation exclusive, which was that damn Resident Evil first-person
shooter one.
Yeah, that shooter one. That was the worst game of 2016 according to them, and then a lot of indies and shit. But that was the worst game.
Was that Umbrella one?
Yeah, Umbrella Corps, because apparently that was some kind of esports hybrid shooter deal or whatever, and it was just awful. And so they picked that. Yeah, they picked that as like the worst game. Xbox One commercial really shits on PSN. Says they won't let you down. The network that won't let you down. Like, I love this. A lot of people say Phil don't have the balls to say stuff like this, but their marketing has really been kind of sticking it to Sony.
They've picked it up on the marketing side, and I mean, and honestly, I mean, they're truthful on that, right? Like, I've hardly ever had issues on Xbox Live.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time that I've had any kind of significant problems. I mean, there's been a couple times. Well, even lately, like, there's not been any of the times where
there hasn't been any times, right?
And the friends list was fucked up for a while or whatever.
Everything downloads super fast. Like, I get full speed downloads on everything.
That's that new update that we got. The increased speeds like 80%. So yeah, that's like that's pretty damn phenomenal. No lie.
I think all of us ever had was just because we were in the insider program and we just.
Yeah, I mean that's honestly it, right? Like I come up with issues, but it's never
but you guys say this now. Just do me a favor, highlight this episode of fucking Xbox Nation, because the minute it goes down for like 6 hours in 3 weeks, everyone's like, "Fucking A, Xbox Live's at it again."
But I think that's because it never goes down.
About it because I'm not used to it, right?
Everything goes down. It doesn't matter what it is. Your ATM at your local bank isn't working. Sometimes you go to your favorite fucking restaurant and the chef has the flu, and you're like, "This isn't the sauce we're used to." There's always something.
You go to McDonald's and their freaking ice cream machine's down.
That's always down. That's always down.
The other day, I went to go get one of their shakes. I was like, man, this really in the mood for it. I pull up, and the first thing they say is the ice cream machines, and I'm like, fuck you, and then I just drove off after that.
You know what? I just pictured a movie clip of Hellhammer doing that when fucking what the hell is his name? With Chip and fucking Napoleon Dynamite. He's trying to prove the point that he can like back up over the fucking like plastic bowl, and he backs up, he pops it, and he's like, fuck, and he just pulls away. Anyway, so anyone who's watched that, see Napoleon Dynamite knows what I'm saying. But I mean, no, like I don't understand. Like, and I'm actually I'm talking to Xbox guys here. I'm not talking to the PlayStation guys, because PlayStation guys are like, hey, Xbox Live is down for 2 hours. Meanwhile, they haven't played in months. But I mean, like, so then who gives a shit what they say?
They just got off of a 7 day downtime.
All I'm saying is, like, enjoy the fact that we haven't had a glitch or a hiccup or a fucking burp in the past 7 months. And then if it happens for 6 hours, like, don't start fucking like burning your Phil Spencer jerseys. Take it easy for a little bit. Relax. Now, if it goes down for 4 days, strike up the pitchforks and knives. I'll join you. Yeah. But I mean,
it's coming up to like Christmas and stuff too, and there's always that sort of that.
People always DDoS and shit too, because they don't. I mean, that's just how it goes.
That's not a problem of Xbox though. That's a problem.
But James, by the way, James Moore, stop being a fucking idiot. We're not blacklisted from anything, buddy. We have passes. We can go to anything. We can go to E3. We can go wherever we want. Meanwhile, Mooch and Crap are blacklisted from Xbox events. Meanwhile, Hey, James Moore, I had Jez on Crossfire 2 weeks ago, and Mike Ibarra was talking about the show. So we're not blacklisted from shit. Hey, you know what I'm going to do? Hey, James Moore, you're blacklisted from the chat. Blocked.
Uh-oh.
There you go.
Black
James Moore, he just got fucking blocked. You're blacklisted.
He just got the old Little Richard.
He did. He got Little Richard.
I love that graphic. Every time I see it, I laugh.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's
guys. I like how people say that. Like Phil Spencer called up fucking James Moore and told him.
Yeah. He held a meeting for everybody except for Mooch and Crapgamer. It was like, we're blacklisting them from everything.
Phil Spencer talked to Crap. What was it? 3-4 weeks ago. You guys.
Yeah, you know what? Look, me and Phil have talked multiple times. Just because it's not a big Twitter thing for everybody to see, we've had interactions with each other. He's even apologized for the whole Quantum Break thing. So I mean, you know what I mean? It is what it is.
Forward to that. Look, right? Like, why would you even get blacklisted no matter what you do? Just because, I mean, we're huge Xbox supporters.
Yeah.
We put money in their pockets.
Okay, hold on. I just want to officially say one thing. When it comes to being blacklisted, usually you had to have death threatened somebody.
Yeah.
We are just small YouTubers in a small little chain of a big world.
The funny part is like
here.
You're gonna go up with your ID card that says Mooch on it, and they're gonna fucking know who you are. Like,
right, exactly. I'm gonna bring a cardboard cutout of my Mooch character face, and hold it up there.
Are you gonna get eye holes cut in it and just wear it like one of those cheap Halloween masks?
Can you imagine the heavy-set, out-of-shape fucking security guards at the E3 chasing me? Stop him!
He's Guido looking. It could be Mooch.
That's him. That's the Italian we've been looking for. Get him.
we better stop him. Like, come on.
Don't let him play Sea of Thieves.
Yeah. Like, look, you can't listen. You can't believe everything you hear on the internet, especially when it comes to bullshit like that. Like, one of the big rumors is Crapgamer doesn't game. Yet I tweeted out yesterday my year-end review on almost 20,000 gamer score over the last year in the top 1%. So I mean, I always thought that's funny because there's always
I'm gaming right now. I'm literally playing Forza right now.
So I know, but you know how there's always like those haters that probably follow me, but on the down low, they're probably like out to prove that that's not true. Like, it can't be possible. How does he get 20,000 game? GKB, you had like 40,000. Like, I'm wondering how the hell.
Oh, dude, I was playing the shit out of games, bro.
Yeah, I feel like the non-gamer now because I only had like 13K.
Yeah,
She-Wolf, you might want to start recording fucking while you're sleeping. I think fucking GKB's playing while he's out cold.
Well,
oh yeah.
I wonder what mine is.
Fucking seaplane.
Yeah, you didn't look at yours.
I was like 41,000 points. I'm like, how did GKB make? Did he go to work?
Yeah, holy crap!
Holy shit!
Hey, Maddie Monk at 55.
Can someone send me a link? How do you look at it?
It gets sent to you in an email.
You probably got. I got it today. Actually, Crap. Everybody got it yesterday. I got mine today. But you can go online and just check it out.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'll
But,
send you the link, and then all you got to do is sign in.
These guys are all 1%. I'm 2%. I got the top 2%.
Yeah, I'm the one. Still in 1%, even at the 13K or whatever it was. So.
Well, I played like literally no joke at all. From after January all the way to like June, I played fucking Destiny.
And to be fair, that's probably why mine's lower, because I was playing a lot of Smite. I was playing a lot of Smite.
Hey, look at people were surprised because I posted mine, and it's like your most played game of 2016 was Smite, and people were like, "Smite? I didn't picture you as the Smite guy." We put like 300 hours on that game.
Yeah, we played a lot.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, that game was fun. Like, I'm not into those type of games like the traditional way, but there's an arena mode.
Arena mode is what I like.
Where it's like team versus team.
Yeah,
and that is fun.
My whole total earning for gamer score is 25,292 over 2016.
Yeah, you beat me.
I'm in the 1% top rank.
What was your top game?
My top game. Your most played game, Destiny.
Yeah, I knew that shit.
What was your most played game last year?
I think it was Call of Duty. Actually.
Yeah, my most played game from last year was The Witcher 3.
Oh no,
mine was The Witcher 3.
No, my most played game from last year was Destiny.
Oh,
if that didn't go into, if that just was like games and apps, then Crapgamers would just be like media player.
I have a total of 207 hours.
I'm a Bungie fanboy because my most played game was Destiny this year, and last year was Halo Master Chief Collection. I mean,
that was kind of surprising.
I put a shit ton of time into Halo Master Chief Collection.
But I'm just saying,
want to hear something cool though? I have to say this one thing. It says my most valued achievement in a game. Guess what it's called? The Young Wolf.
That's
that is pretty interesting.
Like some Smite achievement.
I've earned 655 achievements.
And now I just want to go play some Smite.
My most valuable achievement in that game is Fast Blood. Last year I played The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt the most because you have a lifetime contract with that game whenever you have it.
Still playing it.
I know. So like that's interesting. But I do love that they send you your year in review. Although I think it's a little bit underappreciated.
I think it might be a little bit off too, because I think I played.
People were showing like games that were.
I think I made more than 12K gamer, or more than 12 or 13K gamer score, because I was at the beginning of the year I was at like 80,000, and now I'm at over 100.
Well, yeah. Well, look, I mean, it's still not even the end of the year. Like I just put in, I think over the last 2 days, I put in over 1,000 gamer scores. So obviously that's not going to be added in there. But I do
think. What do you guys think of the crest thing?
I love the crest.
I customized mine and downloaded it
on mine.
You can customize it. I thought that was really cool. I wish Sony would do it. That way I could know how long I played some amazing PS4 exclusive this year, guys.
Well, we already know your most played game on that's that damn Until Dawn game, most likely.
Oh yeah, I like that game. Like I'm not gonna lie, that game.
Oh yeah, that game does look good. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. I would play it.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Oh,
I'm gonna say something here, and it's really interesting. This is something a lot of people have been tweeting out. I watched a couple of videos on it. I gotta say, even though it's, I think they took what No Man's Sky was supposed to be, and they really built that Astroneer in the preview program. It looks decent, actually. Yeah, if you're into the exploring thing, but I mean, that's what fucking No Man's Sky should have been. And these guys are indie developers. They're like, hey, you know what? We'll do it. We got it. And that's because like you build your base, you build so that as you keep exploring, you make it so you got your oxygen and things like that. You can build your, it's almost like an RTS. You're building your thing. There's no enemies, like that, but you're building your colony, and then you can explore further and come back and build your colony. Like in No Man's Sky, you went out just enough to fucking get enough like muscle to get back in your ship and take off again. And then you had to stop to get more oxygen. Like, it just didn't make any sense. This actually holds some water. At least it's decent. I think it's a decent concept.
Well,
Good for them. Good for them.
You know what? They did it the right way. They put it in the preview program or whatever, $20. Developer's super nice. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
way nicer than the No Man's Sky stuff. And probably that's definitely the way it should be. But I've kept everybody long enough. I'm going to start doing some outros. Mooch, what the hell you got going on this week? I know it's getting close to holidays. People are like, "Where's Crossfire?"
Yeah, I know. I took 1 week off. You would have thought I went on like a 2-month vacation. No, Crossfire will be back Friday, 7 p.m. Looking forward to some of your usual suspects, guest or two possibly. And yeah, it'll be definitely a lightning round of arguing going on, which is always what I like to look forward to on Crossfire.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then MNC Mornings on
on
the Mooch's channel. But listen, I'm leaning towards Monday morning, but you know, I don't want to let anybody down. Crap, if you got to work.
Yeah, it might be Monday at noon. I don't know, something like that.
I can deal with that for this. I mean, it is on Christmas, New Year's Day. I think we can still pull it off on Sunday.
Yeah,
I could give a shit about New Year's Day.
Yeah, people are like hungover or whatever.
People are hungover. Put on Mooch and Crap and make an extra large pot of coffee.
Exactly, it's the best thing for a hangover, according to Jay Williams. So
fact, very
yes.
true.
Hashtag facts. Free 60. We also have the governor. What do you got going on, GKB?
What's up, bro? We got the game time. We're gonna do that tomorrow night, I think. Right, She-Wolf? I don't want to.
Wait, you guys are doing game night tomorrow night?
Friday.
Yeah. We don't want to cancel it.
What game you guys play? What game?
Whatever She-Wolf picks, I guess.
Battlefront?
I don't know, man. You triggered a lot of people in the chat, man. About Star Wars.
Hey, She-Wolf kicked out Foxfire out of the.
Oh, that was pretty funny.
Right out of the chat.
And she deserved it.
And then she
But
blocked
I
her.
apologized for it.
Yeah, I think, and we got the Video Game Awards next week. We're really excited about that. So
Finally, the Video Game Award.
Oh,
wanted to wait till the end, man.
I know.
We don't want to have like a cutoff time. The games couldn't get in, to this.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, they're supposed to be the games of 2016. So
Hey, I'm about 20-some likes away from 300 likes. Let's get there, folks. Come on.
Get it.
I'll throw you a dislike.
No, likes, you ass bucket. Likes. Okay, She-Wolf, what do you got going on? Yeah, game night, and all that kind of good stuff.
yeah, we'll release the game that we're playing in the morning.
Okay. It's not Doom, is it? That's cursed.
I don't know. It's Friday, so it may actually not be cursed, but we'll release what it is in the morning. And then, of course, like GKB said, we have the Gaming Awards on December 27th. And we have a lot of new stuff coming January 1st, so I hope everyone is very well prepared for what we're going to be bringing. And
Hell yeah.
of course, you can just find me on Xbox and Twitter at XSheWolfX with a U, not an O. So,
Okay.
She-Wolf, just throwing this out there. I know, Crap, you want to wrap up, and I appreciate that. But I just want to throw out there, why don't we, if you don't pick it, no hard feelings at all. Let's do Modern Warfare.
Oh yeah,
the remaster. We haven't done it. People went out and bought it, and I don't think unless we force it, I don't think you're going to see 6 to 10 people playing it at any point in time.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I would love to play that.
I played it with Crap and all them.
I haven't
and
even
watched
played it.
Hellhammer get all
Get on
pissed
to
off
that.
because he was dying. So.
Oh, Hellhammer is gonna be funny because yesterday or the 2 days ago, he's like, I'm deleting this game. I feel like throwing my fucking controller through my monitor. They messed it up.
Triggered.
Yeah, he was so pissed off. It was hilarious. I was like, dude, just slap on your jammer class. These guys are idiots. They just totally go off UAV. They won't find you. And he's like, it doesn't work. None of the guns work. I got to use a saw. He's like he uses the worst guns and does well.
I know.
It's
I use the
funny.
cheap ass guns. Like I put an M16 on, whatever I do. I play like shit. I put on like the saw, the G3, the M14, and I'm like just like wrecking people on there. It doesn't make any
Dude, he
sense.
puts on a saw and he's like, get sawed, yeah. Like you hear him say that every time. Every time he gets a kill. I just kept hearing it over. I was like, are you really getting that many kills with the fucking saw? He's like, yeah, look at my score. He's like 35-4 or something. I'm like, Jesus. So it is. What do you got going on, Hell Hammer?
Not much. I'll be back on here for the next podcast here on Xbox Nation, and then I can be found on Xbox Live and Twitter, XXLhammer.
Yeah. And if you guys want to check out another podcast, the Return of the DirectX show on Ghost Rider 730.
Yes.
His channel, like I think that ended, but yeah, definitely you guys might want to check that out. The title of it is Return of the DirectX minus the fraud. So put 2 and 2 together and see what that's all about and tell them Crapgamer. And yeah, 11 away from 300. You motherfuckers aren't going to hit that like button. Oh my God, I hate all of you. Happy holidays, and we'll catch you guys later.
Happy holidays, guys.
Yes. Merry Christmas and all that good stuff.